to
You
go
know
in
I
deep
have to
every
do it.
episode. I
Okay,
don't mean to
so
do this.
y'all, well, you already started the fucking avalanche. So, welcome
Okay,
to
so
episode 12 of Ain't Life Funny Podcast. This is Matt. What's up, everybody? What's up, Aaron?
what's up, man? This is the resident tinfoil hat wearer over here.
You have no idea. So, everyone, I'm just gonna let Aaron get started because he's
Oh nah,
going
I
in
didn't say
hot
nothing
with
crazy
that
today.
little. No, I mean it ain't crazy.
I
I
didn't
don't
say
think it's
nothing too
crazy to
crazy
think
today.
that Trump is gonna get elected. I don't think that's crazy to
That's what
think
I'm saying. I'm pretty sure that I think he's gonna win again, man. Just off the sense that I don't know, man. I feel like people getting too crazy out here. Everybody's acting goofy as shit, and just off of like all this racial tension going on right now, number one. But then also like I don't know, man. I just feel like if you really know all like the little tricks in politics, like I feel like the Republicans gonna have a big turnout in voting. So that means Democrats gotta have like three times that. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause they got like that shit all gerrymandered and shit. Where you know what I mean? You really gotta like have mad people come out in order to win. So we'll see, man. But I don't know. I just feel like early predictions. I think Trump about to win again, man.
I don't think that if I think that if you took like a poll of just people walking around, especially like you live in Nashville right now, I live in LA, it's probably going to be 100% Trump's going to lose. I don't want Trump to be in office anymore. He's a, all this shit. He's a lunatic. But if that didn't help the last time, and
I'm
I
saying.
think the problem that I have that I've voiced that I mean it's kind of a just a moot point, but the Democratic Party doesn't have anybody to stack up. You can't. I mean, they're going to put Biden out there, but
Right.
he's already lost. I mean, he's already lost because he can't. I think he has like Alzheimer's. He can't really put sentences together right now. His only
Man, I think
real.
both of them do, man. Like
I
that's
mean,
what I'm saying, bro. Like I think that
probably.
it's to the point where they just need to put a puppet up there. But I think that it's almost like a character show now. Like it's really kind of like Stone Cold versus The Rock, and people don't realize that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And I don't know if Bernie Sanders is like. I mean, if I'm sorry, if Joe Biden is like crazy enough over the top to really
he
pull it
can't play
off.
the game. Like he
Right.
doesn't know how
You
to
know what I'm
play
saying?
the game that Trump's playing
Right.
because like he is a political. Joe Biden's been in politics for decades, and the
Well, that's
only
his other weakness
positive
too.
thing that I think he has on his record is that he was Obama's vice president. Because otherwise, he's been caught plagiarizing speeches. He's been caught lying. He's been caught doing racist shit. He's never been really successful in politics other than
Right.
putting his claws into somebody that's more successful and just riding their coattails. So, and on top of everything, even if he was a valid candidate that I might have some confidence in, uh, he can't. It is what you said. It's a WWE just shoot. It's good versus
Right.
evil. It's one guy yelling and another guy has to come back and it has to be this verbal it it
It's
has
the
to
only
be
way. It's gonna get like
it's
that. Yeah.
basically just the dozens.
Yeah.
That's basically what politics is. Who can insult
Exactly,
the other
man.
person better and get that headline. So
Well, this is the
he ain't
thing,
gonna
man.
do
Joe Biden's biggest weakness is what Trump
it.
already did to win, which is Hillary Clinton, bro. He has links to the Clintons, and that's what Trump did was go out there and attack Hillary for all of her long-standing, faulty shit in politics and shit because she's dirty, and that's what Biden is too. Like you said, he's been a politician for so long, but also, like I said, the Republicans got the shit gerrymandered too. So in order for the Democrats to win, anyways, it got to be a big turnout. Like a whole bunch of shit got to go their way. So that's why I'm just saying, like the way that it's looking right now like, and I know all this racial shit popped off. I feel like mad white people that was down with Trump even more down with him. You know what I'm saying? Because like they just gotta stand on being crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just to that point where it's like they've been going with him for so long. If they say they was wrong with him now, then they gonna look crazy. You know what I mean? Because people been saying it all along. You know what I mean?
But
Like you've been ignoring all the signs. You know what I mean? So
It's
I don't
crazy
know,
that
bro.
nobody can just do that, though. You can't do that in anything. It's like as soon as you say something, you're held to that, and no matter what the situation is, you can't ever admit, "Hey, man, I was wrong about this," and actually, we've changed our opinion and our decision based on this new information. And for some reason, it's like the Democratic Party, every time there's an election, it happened with Hillary Clinton. It's plainly obvious to anyone that's just looking at it from the outside that there's no strength behind the person they're putting out there. They put out Hillary, and immediately there's no like fanfare. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's no like
You know
Obama
what
thing
it
where it's like
is?
everyone's pushing to get this person in
Right.
because they're crooked as fuck. They don't have anybody that they can parade out there that anyone's going to have any opinion of other than, oh, well, they've been in politics for decades and I don't trust them. They've done
You
this
know what else is fucked
bullshit.
up though? Is that it's like I'm gonna try to explain this, but it's kind of confusing. But it's supposed to be that way by design, and it's just fucked up by design. But instead of like majority rules in our shit, it's actually I think it's called polarity rules or whatever. So I forget exactly how it works, but it's like, let's say 3 candidates run, right? One guy gets like 52%, another person gets 48 or something. Well, no, I say nobody gets over 50. So I say somebody gets like 30, somebody gets 20, and somebody gets like 15, right? So what would happen is like that person that was in the third one, what's supposed to happen is that the third person just takes the votes away from the other two guys. So really, the top two people, what should happen is that you split the third person's votes so that whoever got the most will get a percentage of the third person's votes. So that way, like, and you vote for 2 candidates instead of one. I think that was the way they were saying you solve it. I saw it on this TV show where they were trying to explain how you should fix it. But you vote for like candidate number 1 and candidate number 2. So like if candidate number 2 gets more votes than like the third guy or whatever, like let's say somebody votes for like guy 2 and 3 and not guy number 1, but everybody else votes for guy number 1 and guy number 2. Guy number three's votes could still go to number 2 and like help him win. You know what I'm saying? Like, so your votes still count. You know what I mean? Because like the way it is now, it's like if you vote for somebody and that guy doesn't win, your votes kind of just go in the trash, basically. You know what I'm saying? Because then, like, you don't get represented in politics anymore at all. Like,
Yeah.
if you're in a red state and you vote blue, and then it's just constantly a red state, you don't have the beliefs in that place, but you live there. Not everybody can just get up and move. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's a lot of faulty shit. I can't really explain exactly how that shit goes. It's this show on Netflix though. That's, I think it's with that dude. It's like a Muslim guy, something Hassan. I think it's called like Weekly Now or some shit. I forgot exactly the name of it.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That shit, man, he's really informative on a lot of stuff, man, with the politics especially. But I don't know, man. I just feel like all signs, the way people were looking at me out in the streets. I don't know, man. I just feel like I seen a whole lot more Trump stickers going hard. I just feel like all them people just that more down for him because of all of the shit anyways. You know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
like okay, I hate to even say this, but like I don't have a pulse on it. And I mean, I know what my wife thinks, but like in your opinion, for the black community, is there a big push for them to support Joe Biden? Because to me, like even when he went on Charlemagne and tried to like push himself into that vote, he put his
Yeah.
foot in his fucking mouth and said some dumbass
Right.
shit where it's like,
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
You stupid motherfucker. Oh my fucking god, dude.
Everybody I hear keeps saying you got to vote for him just because they don't want Trump
Yeah.
to win. You
well,
know what I'm
that's all
saying? And
I've
to
heard.
me,
That's
that's a
what my
shitty
wife
reason to vote
thinks.
for somebody.
Like,
That's a shitty, you know what I'm saying? Like to me, that's a shit reason to vote for someone when it's all said and done. I mean, because to me, what I really think is going on is like if you want to go into the deep realms of the conspiracy, is like I
Oh
said,
no.
I think there's elite people, like the rich elites, and I think that there's warring fractions amongst them. So there's like, one that wants to go one way, and then there's one that wants to go the other way. And I think that's what's going on. There's people that's on Trump's side that want to take it one way, and there's people that are on, I guess like the Democratic Party side, the deep state, whatever you want to call it, side that want to take it another way. Because I mean, like you can also look at the failings of our politicians in the sense of like the Democrats keep saying the same thing with Joe Biden, bro. Like all of them keep saying, "Well, we're all going to vote together as a team. We got to link up." Because I mean, also as a Democrat, you kind of have to, because it's like if you didn't vote for him, it's like, well, I voted for Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you call yourself a Democrat if you
Well,
voted
that's
for
what
him?
I
You know what I
think.
mean?
That's
So
the
it's like,
general consensus as human beings in the United States.
right,
Like, unless you are a Trump supporter, which I
right.
can't fathom anyone that could be that other than just being a blind Republican, I guess. But even in America, it's just that's the opinion. It's you have to vote for this guy or you're a Trump supporter. And like for me, I would always vote third party because in the past I was just like, I don't like either of these people and my
But then it's
vote
like
is
your vote
this.
doesn't matter.
That's the thing. That I mean, in one way you're kind of protesting, but in another way you're
Right.
just wasting your time in a vote, which
Well,
I
you know, in
get.
other countries, they have it where it's like the district is split between multiple political parties. So it's like you could be like red, like let's say like red party, blue party, and it could even be like a green party, but they're all represented when they go to like their parliament or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So like green party has a seat in District 12, just like blue party has a seat in District 12, and all of the voices get heard. You know what I mean? But now those are the same places where people get in fist fights out on the floor, you know what I'm saying, and be karate
Yeah.
kicking people and shit, you know what I'm saying? So like I'm sure they all have their failings and stuff too, but at least the voice still gets heard, so you can keep voting for that guy. Like, who do you want to represent your Green Party candidate? And then like let that person go and speak for you down there. Because like I said, the way it is now, like you have one or the other, and if you pick outside of that, or if you pick the other guy for whatever reason, then it's just like, well, I really just picked him because I wanted to win. That's really what it comes down to at a certain point. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I want you to feel like I was on the winning side. Because if not, your voice never gets heard. Like the side that you want to hear, like everything Joe Biden talked about, student loans, whatever, you can't even hold him to it because it's like, well, he lost. So you'll never see that shit. Or everything Trump promised, he won and now he doesn't have to do that shit because he already won now. So I don't know, man.
I just feel like
I
I don't know if I mean obviously I'm sure there's plenty of people that'd be like this is stupid, what a dumbass idea. But the more I think about it and like the more that I try to torture myself by thinking of some system that would work that isn't what we have now, it's almost like to me the only way that I would think we could get anything done, again, I don't know how this would happen really, but Europe is basically smaller than the United States. And it's countries. So there's Italy, there's this and there's that. And at this point, it seems like these people up at the top are all just accepting all this fucking money. They're not doing anything. They're creating all this fucked up shit to make everyone that they know richer. And it's the people like locally that can that's where you can get anything done anyway, is in some sort of a local election in your community. So my idea would be like, instead of states and we could still be the United States, but somehow treat it like we're all countries, so that we can have some sort of elections that are for, it's like a really important thing to vote for state shit, and
right.
your community stuff. And then we are all still connected. I mean, if you do it this way, I guess you'd have to have like checkpoints at states, but they're already doing that now, bro. So
I mean, yeah.
it's not
I mean,
that
my
far.
thing with
I don't
that,
like that, but it's like that's the only thing that seems like if
yeah.
we just want to put a system in place, that's the only thing I can even like vaguely conceive of where maybe we do that, and then in doing that you reduce the amount of money you need for elections, and you reduce the amount,
Well, that's
just
the
like,
one thing.
you
Because the
know
money is the barrier, man. Like it's just like no matter what level you want to get into, it's just too much money to even like, you know what I'm saying, like really get active in that shit. If you're just a common person, you really have to stay dedicated and like focused on like doing, like grassroots type stuff in hopes that it builds a following. But I mean, like I said, like on a previous episode, bro, I just feel like at any level when you start linking up, it opens the door for corruption as well. Because then it's like, well, how much do I really trust this person, that person? Because like it'd be
yeah,
dope to have more, local officials and shit. But then it's like, okay, we want to build a park, and then it only costs $10,000 to put up the swing set and shit, and do it on the low, and be effective and all that. And then somebody greasing the pot and got the joint all the way up to 100,000 for a little seesaw or some shit, like some BS. So like, and then they pocket in the rest of that money. So I don't know, man. Like
I
at
mean,
every level.
just in you
Yeah.
bringing that up, I've thought of like 30 other things that make my idea completely stupid. Like, there's going to be states that don't have as much money as other states if you do that. You know what I'm saying? And if you
I
take
mean,
out this giant thing that's controlling everything, which is what we all love, it's ideally they would be taking care of those states that don't have as much money, but that doesn't even happen. I mean,
right.
that's where
Well,
half of the systemic racial shit goes into is they take all the money and put it into places where white people are
I
basically.
mean, one of our biggest problems too is just on the standpoint of like education and shit. I mean, that's what you're saying. Like, schools get money based off of how good the neighborhoods are that they're in. You know what I'm saying? Like, they really never desegregated schools if you look at it in that sense, because it's like, you know, if you're in a bad neighborhood, that's a troubled school in the hood. Like, you might have metal detectors in your shit. You getting pat down. Where, you know, some other kid goes to school, they, you know, living the dream, got big ass gymnasium and shit, swimming pools and all of that shit. Like, it just shows you that shit never is really even. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's my thing about it too. Is like, I would say the biggest solution of politics, because like the number one thing that we're really talking about with any political system is the management of money. You know what I'm saying? Like it's at every level, like at the government, state level, federal, everything. So to me, I feel like what's really being shown is that our federal government does not manage our money correctly, even in the slightest bit. Because like, look at how coronavirus went down. Look at the Iraq war. You know what I'm saying? Afghanistan. Like all these things to me look like bad investments. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're in with the privatized business that's funding all the shit that's going on. And that's what Halliburton was. You know what I'm saying? So like, once again, they just keep showing to me that either they're gonna do something with the illusion of doing the right thing and have their hand in your pocket, or they're gonna do the wrong thing and have their hand in their pocket. But at the end of the day, they're really not solving the issues. Like one issue in America, it's mad garbage everywhere that people don't talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like landfills are fucking full of shit because we used to sell our trash to China and now we don't do that shit no more. Motherfucking there's mad dirty ass pipes underneath cities and shit that didn't get replaced that are old as fuck from like, you know, the 70s and shit when they first put in the sewage system and all of that. It's mad bridges that's falling apart in America. Like you would think you would see all these things happening where you would say, oh, that's the federal money going out there and fixing that shit. That's not even what's happening, bro. Like they broke you off a little $1,200 check and was like, hey man, get back to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's pretty much what then went down. So I don't know, man. In my opinion, it's just showing to me all this shit is fucked up. The best idea that I could even think is to be some crazy ultimate rebellion where it's just like none of us fucking vote. You know what I'm saying? And we just be like, yo,
Yeah, but you'll
everybody fuck
never
the
get
system.
that shit, dude.
I mean,
You're
yeah, there
never
ain't no
gonna
way.
get that.
Yeah, I mean, there ain't no way. Or everybody vote for somebody that should win. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Like you got to just
I
do something to
mean,
totally
dude,
tip the scales. But like you said, there ain't no way to get everybody that linked up. So
if you believe that the voting this year in November isn't gonna be the most fucked, fake,
oh, it's about to be crazy as fuck.
corrupted data
Oh
and
yeah.
corrupted vote, like all that shit. Remember in Florida, that hanging Chad shit when they got George W. Bush in over Al
Oh
Gore?
yeah.
All in Florida, that one little thing, and those were physical ballots that
Right.
they somehow fucked with. This is all. They're gonna just figure out a way to make you vote online, and it's just gonna
I mean,
be,
Matt,
you
they
know,
already went in everybody's phone to put that COVID-19 shit in there. You
yeah.
heard about that, right? So I
What's
mean,
that?
off rip, they put this thing that could track any person that if you come in contact with the virus, they supposedly your phone can ping off of where they've been and know if you was near them during the time when they were contaminated with the shit. But they went in everybody's phone. If you go on your settings, there it installs some shit that just says COVID-19 now, and it just like does that shit on its own. You could turn it off, I think, but I'm just saying, like, if they can do that, they can manipulate anything because that's just a coordinated thing right there where every phone system in America linked up all at once and was like, we're just gonna do this one thing. So it's like they couldn't just go in and put, you know, a yes vote under one box. Like hell yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, yeah, that shit gonna be a joke in November, like you was talking
And
about,
even
like Comedy Central.
even fucking Trump. I don't have it in front of me, but like maybe a week ago or a couple weeks ago, he tweeted or said it in a speech that it was gonna be rigged.
The president drew upon, saying 2020 will be the most rigged election in our nation's history. In another tweet, he stated in all caps that millions of mail-in ballots will be printed by foreign countries and others. It will be the scandal of our times.
And I think he was indicating that if he lost, it was because of that. But he said that.
I mean, they already closing down voter ballots. I saw they was doing that shit in other states where they close down mad voting stations and shit. So
yeah, I know. And you have
there's
like one place for like 3,900 people or like 30,000 people or some shit.
Yeah, bro. There's about to be some crazy shit, man.
Good luck.
People, I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Serious crap.
I don't know, dude. It's one of those things where at this point, I don't want to be like completely pessimistic about what's going on or that there's not a way to get out of it. But my idea in a perfect world, if I had my way, is I would have enough money to move someplace that is in a remote-ish area, like outside of someplace in Colorado, like an hour away from Denver or something, where you're kind of close to a big city, but you're in the country. You can grow your own shit. You can have enough property to like everyone you could get a community of people and trust and start doing something locally there. Like basically being like some sort of cult shit out in the middle of nowhere. It's not a cult. It's just a community of people that don't want to deal with this shit anymore. Because other than moving to Canada or buying a island that's in international waters, I live in California. I don't want to live here anymore. Like they've ruined California.
I'm telling you, man. Yeah, what you're talking about is probably
That's
the best thing to do is just link up with people you know and trust. Yeah, man, and just be like, look, man, we're just gonna do everything for the greater good for us, man, and all for one type of shit. Because I mean, that's really what I think is the key. They talking about all this racial shit. I mean, I would say white, black, whatever. It's people that known for a long time. Link up and be like, look, man, we just a family now, yo. Like, we gotta just stick together because they got it to where you're scared of your neighbors. You can't trust nobody. You can't trust the cops. You know what I'm saying? Like,
dude, like
you can't trust the judges and none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
even if you came out here, I would feel weird around. I went to work today, like for the first time in a few weeks to mail shit out for my job. And I saw like two people there, and just being around people that isn't my wife that I see every day, it's like I'm trying to avoid that, like them, like they have fucking plague coming off of them or some shit. And I don't even think that's sane. It's just, I can't help it. You know what I mean? They've made that happen. So I don't really know other than to do that and to try. I mean, they did that shit in Seattle with that Chaz thing, but my thing is with that, it was like organized by some sort of an organization. I know Black Lives Matter is an ideal, but there's also an organized system within that that's controlling that. Yeah. And I don't like. There's been some fuck shit going on with that too, where if it's something like that, you don't know everybody that's at that chat. Right. It's just like 3 blocks of no cops. So you don't know everybody that's in there. But if you know everybody that's in your like 5-acre property and shit, and you kind of control that, it almost feels like it's getting time to start considering that type of shit, because all this other stuff seems kind of impossible. Changing it and getting it to where it's not some sort of violent revolt that I can't take part in. I'm not going to be part of that. So other than just to do what I'm saying and kind of figure out how to live as much off the grid as you can, it seems like the perfect time to do that, because also like a positive for that is like solar energy is something that's actually kind of affordable now. There's ways that you can figure out how to grow things, even if like I have never worked on a farm, but we still have the internet and shit. Like it's not like you have to give that up, but you can learn these things. Or it's not like in the 70s, if you wanted a solar energy run farm or something, it'd be like, oh, okay. $80 million or whatever. You know, it would
Right.
be an investment, but it's possible, and there's other things to
Nah,
do. So,
definitely. I
I
mean,
don't know.
I think that's the next wave in terms of like technology, private industry. You know what I'm saying? Getting people to get home units so they can kind of easily grow and sustain for food and shit. Because you see what's happening, bro. Like you seen all this crazy shit. So you know, food not on the shelves in grocery stores and stuff. Like I think that's a real reason for people to want to think about investing in that. But like what you're saying, good idea. I think that is probably the best move. Like in terms of just like individuals and stuff, you should try to come together with people you can know and trust and do exactly that. But I would also say you saw Waco and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like you seen what they did to them people, man, which was they had their own little spot, you know what I'm saying? And then they came in there and got them. So they tried to get them on some crazy government, you know, like I guess like they had a warrant or they didn't or whatever, but I'm just saying, man, like they still are. That was to me a show of force to let them people know, and
Oh
anybody else
yeah,
thinking about doing shit like that, you know, we'll still come in there and get you. You know what I'm saying? Like you like don't think that, you know what I'm saying? Like this ain't, you know, our country, dog. You know what I
and
mean?
that's
Because like
another instance where in our past, because I remember when that shit happened. I wasn't that old,
yeah,
but I remember like seeing that shit on the news. There were people fucking pissed that the government did that. They were like, everyone
yeah.
was up in arms about that. But what happened? Not a fucking thing, you know?
Well, that's crazy because they did that without the Patriot Act. You know what I'm saying? Because now they have the Patriot Act where, and then Obama expanded it with the NDAA, where basically it's saying that, you know, they can come in your house, say you're a terrorist or a threat to the government or whatever, come in your house, lock your ass up with no warrant, never let you see a judge, throw
Yeah, and
you
you
in
don't
jail.
like you
Yeah,
disappear. Like you don't. It ain't
exactly.
even like they have to
Right,
tell anybody. It's just
right.
hey,
They can this
possible
that shit is
terrorist.
written. Yeah, that shit is written in law, dog. So like, you know, it is what it is, and I mean that's why people were talking about like all that false flag shit. But they kind of wrote that right after those people. I think it was in San Bernardino. Them Muslim people shot that place up, and they were trying to say they were homegrown terrorists and shit. So that's why they tried to expand the law so they could just be like, oh well, even though you're an American citizen, you know, you could still go to jail or whatever. And they try to make it look like, oh, it was them. But the thing about it is, that, who's to even say those people was Muslims, or who's to say that they weren't somehow touched by the CIA or the FBI or whatever in certain type of way where they were brought here, you know what I'm saying, and then you know corrupted or coerced to do something. Because like that's my thing too, bro. It's like they can put stuff out there and make it look one way, and then it'd be a total another thing. And then if it's big news, people remember it. But the way our memories work now, so much shit going on, you just remember highlights. You don't really be like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, like locked into stuff, man. I mean, honestly, maybe that's what sports even kind of trains you to do. Because like it's weird when like you go to like a football game in real life, like a high school game, there ain't no instant replay. So like you're trying to like play it back in your mind. It's like, oh man, hold on, dog. Like that's only like TV. You know what I'm saying? Like that's this ain't, you know, how this works in the real world. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's also just a training that they use where they just, you know, they keep saying the same couple of things. Like we can all think about things from 9/11 or whatever, but it's certain things we know, you know what I'm saying? Like that just hit, you know what I mean? Whereas like building number 7 or, you know, whatever, like the Pentagon and shit, you know what I'm saying? But like, and that other plane went down, but don't nobody remember all the numbers, all of every exact little detail. And it's in those details where I think they'd be slipping shit under, you know, under the radar and pulling moves on us, bro. But I said I won't get too crazy on this shit today, man. I was trying to take it easy. All I was saying was politically, I feel like Trump probably about to win again, man. Just from what
Dude,
I'm seeing out here in this red state, that's what it's looking like in
if
Tennessee, at
if
least.
you wanted to put some fucking money down, if they accept bets in Las Vegas on this shit, I would love to see what it is. If there's a line
Oh
on it,
yeah,
because if there's any way to make money off of it, I would not. I'm not gonna vote for Trump, and unfortunately, it seems like I'm gonna have to vote for Joe Biden just because it is what it is. I don't know what else to do at this point. I could vote third party, but it's a throwaway vote, and I don't want to have this fucking dumb fuck in office anymore. I'm sick of hearing about him. Honestly, what's really sucky about that guy also is that he has done something to, even if he loses, he's made himself, he's the talk of every show. Every fucking thing on TV is Stephen Colbert, Daily Show. All
Right.
of it is talking about Trump. Saturday Night Live is talking about Trump. You and I are talking about Trump. Even if he doesn't win, he's gonna be the richest fucking guy in the world, just doing TV appearances and doing all this shit afterwards, which is what his plan was, in my opinion, anyway, in the beginning.
Right.
But it's gotten to the point now where it's like I don't get what the plan is. Why do you want to have that guy in there? If you're the overlords, is it like what is going on? You want him in there still? Hasn't he done enough? Or are you just gonna is it just you're gonna get him to the point where he's shot and
I mean,
a martyr or some shit?
I just think that there is no ultimate plan except for the fact that he's just doing exactly what you said, man, drawing the attention one way so they can keep doing shit the other way. You know what I mean?
And
Like,
also what he's done to the country in terms of just our appeal internationally is just it's horrifying, to the point where I read somebody told me, this might be hearsay, but I think that we have a ban of traveling to Europe now. Like, Europe will not allow us to travel there.
maybe.
And also, Kendra said that Iran actually has a warrant out for Trump's arrest, which I know it's Iran, but
Yeah.
what the fuck? Like, it just seems that he's created this thing where he's gonna win no matter. There's no situation where he doesn't win. If he loses, he's rich. He gets to just continue to build his brand, which is
Oh, yeah.
always been his thing, putting his name on everything, making everything about him. So that's a win. Or he stays president and builds this even bigger wave of hate and media attention, to where in 4 more years, what I'm saying applies even more so, maybe double or triple what I'm saying. Or ultimately something even crazier happens and he becomes some sort of, people down the line will be like, oh, we'll somehow celebrate this guy in some way because he took a bullet or like some crazy shit.
Maybe.
Because at
I
this
think if he
point,
wins, oh, my bad.
no, I was just
What you
gonna
about to
say, even the people that stand next to him in his fucking speeches, if you were to take snapshots of their faces, a bunch of them look like they just want to whoop his ass all the time. Like, it doesn't seem like anybody can control the guy. And I know he is a puppet of somebody, even if maybe it is him. But it's just so fucking crazy that, like 4 years ago, everyone's like, it was a joke.
Right. Even to the Republicans, it was a joke.
It was a joke. People were laughing about it. People made jokes about that. He was just some guy that had a TV show. And not, flash forward now, it's insane, dude. It's so crazy.
To me, I think, like, if he does win, though, he's going to probably spend the next 4 years trying to find a way to write the law so that he can just be the president forever.
I think
You
it's
know what
going to
I'm
happen. I think what's going to happen, this is my conspiracy theory that I've created, that we're in this right now. Today's July 1st. There's going to be a resurgence of COVID because everybody's kind of just getting sick of it. They're lax on all the shit and they're not paying attention. But that's a very real thing, in my opinion. So that's going to happen. It's going to be right around when the election's going on. So you can't go out. So they're going to restrict that. So then they're going to say either we're going to do online voting and they'll create some bullshit so he'll get reelected, or he's going to say, you know what, executive power, I'm calling a halt to everything political right now. There will be no election. This is an emergency act that I'm doing where I'm taking control and I'm going to be the president until we're through this crisis, which
Right.
open-ended. It's just like the war on terror. It's like, unless you get a vaccine that's perfect, that is curing this shit, when does that end? You know what I'm saying?
The thing about it that's even scarier is if not him, then, Joe Biden might do the same exact shit.
Yo,
You know what I'm saying?
that's what I was saying. I think I said it in a other thing, is what I'm terrified of is everyone is blindly wanting to vote for Joe Biden for good reason. But I don't even know who his vice presidential candidate is. I don't know who it is.
I don't think he got one yet. I don't think there is one.
So
yet.
there, like, he could be like got voted for, And then all of a sudden he's like, "Hey, Satan's my fucking running mate." But everyone's
Basically.
just like, "We gotta vote for him." I guess Satan's just kind of misunderstood. He was
I
an
mean, I think they're
angel.
gonna
He
slip
was an
Hillary Clinton in. They're gonna slip Hillary Clinton in, dog. She's gonna pop up out the dark and just be like, "Yeah, I was the most sensible candidate," and then she's gonna be vice president, and then they're gonna, Joe gonna fake a seizure, and then she's gonna be president,
fake. I
dog.
mean, dude, that guy. I feel like that guy's like moments away from having a heart attack, stroke, or some sort of like embolism pop. Like, I honestly think I haven't somebody in my family that had like an embolism
Yeah,
pop multiple times. They survived it multiple times, but the first time it did it, it warped them significantly. Like it
right,
was not. They were there. They could still talk to you, but it wasn't the same person. So it's
right.
like it's possible if you're rich. What I'm finding out now is that if you're rich, dude, apparently nothing matters because small potatoes where I live, a lot of rich people near the beach in Redondo Beach and shit. The rich people seem to not give a fuck about masks. They don't seem to really care about any of this shit
Well, it's
because
not
they got
just
a
them.
bunch of money. And I get
It's not
that.
just
I
them.
get that. But I'm just saying. But if you want to go higher up, something that shocked me to no end, and I don't know why, it's just because I just stopped paying attention to the guy. Dick Cheney's still walking the face of the earth, right?
Yeah,
That guy doesn't have a human heart in his body, dude.
yeah. I
Still.
mean, it doesn't matter, bro.
How much money does that cost? He doesn't have a human heart in his body.
It
How
doesn't
is that
matter, dog.
possible? Isn't that in
They
the Bible?
just got to keep the blood flowing. I don't know. I don't know about that one, but I just know that
I
as
think
long as the
that's a
blood's
sign of the
moving,
apocalypse, like people walking the earth with no heartbeat or no pulse or something. I
I
don't
know
know.
they say the dead will rise. I mean,
Oh, there you
you know
go.
what I'm saying?
Like that shows you, dude. Some normal person that has heart problems, they
I
might
mean,
not. They die. Dick Cheney, he
yeah,
had that shit like 10 years ago, and I was like, oh well, they're buying him some time, but he's gonna die eventually. And then I just saw a story where he was talking about wearing masks. I was like, that fucking guy is alive.
bro.
That's
Fucking,
so
I
crazy.
mean, Peyton Manning, dude. Like when he got his neck hurt and shit, he couldn't get nobody to sign off on really doing a surgery on his neck, but he went to
Germany.
in Germany, yeah, and they put stem cells in his neck, and then the motherfucker came back and played football. Like he went and got an experimental surgery or whatever procedure that is not allowed in America.
No, you can get it now, but I mean, Joe Rogan goes ad nauseum on that shit. But where you
Yeah,
actually have to get the real deal shit in North America is, I thought, or maybe it's South America, Venezuela. That's where like
hmm.
the legit like place that he recommends people to go to.
Yeah,
He sends like his mom, but I know that you can get a lot of that Regenikine shit, which is what Peyton Manning got done, where they spin your blood plasma and turn it into some sort of anti-inflammatory or whatever.
yeah,
He got that done in Germany because they went. That's like I think that was probably one of the first times somebody high profile did that. I mean, that was a long
yeah.
time ago,
But I'm just saying, man, think about that though. You're talking about money and
dude.
what they can do. I mean, right there, like you can just fly to another country and get a procedure that doesn't even exist around where you live. You know what I'm saying? And fucking change your whole life. So I mean, because they can do that shit for not just your neck, they can do that shit for anything. You know what I'm saying? Your knee, whatever. So it's just like if people walk around right now, I'm sure in pain and just can't even deal with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Just be like, well, that's just how my leg is now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, they can fucking fix that shit like new, bro. But you just broke, so you can't get it. So
It is
I
crazy.
mean, we
I
was
mean,
talking about
it is not.
I was saying we were talking about said Jason Momoa about to be Frosty the Snowman and shit. And I mean, that's the type of shit that I be wondering is like, are you thinking that, they can give you a new neck? How crazy can they really go? You know what I'm saying? Because, they got like, that dude from like Ripley Believe It Not, Tiger Man and shit. Like, could they just like, you'd be like, man, I just want to just go ahead and have some fucking Wolverine claws, man, and let's just get with this shit. And they just be like, well, we could put some fucking claws in your hands,
Yeah,
actually, if
I
you really
wonder if
wanted
there
to
is
do
like a
that. Just, you
level.
know what I mean? Like,
Do you think that there's a plastic surgeon you could find that would try to do that kind of shit? Because I mean, people do I forget what it's called. Bio.
reconstruction of some shit.
No, it's called. There's like a name for like putting like implants. Maybe it's bio-implantation or something where people put shit
Yeah.
under their skin. But the only thing I've ever heard anybody doing is crazy people who are at the forefront of this, where they want to sort of be half person, half machine. So
Right.
these crazy fucks will, at home, cut into themselves and implant, who knows, like a button, like a some sort of, let's say like the key
USB
fob
port or
shit.
some shit. Yeah.
Maybe that, I don't know, but
Yeah.
something that is electronic under their skin, like a subdermal type thing.
I mean,
But
I feel like
even
there's
that,
mad people already doing that, bro. Like I feel like
no, there
we're talking
is.
about
They do it at home, but like
yeah.
the ones that I've read about, because I think even like Vice did a story about these people, but most of them within like a year, because you're just putting foreign matter like in your body,
Right.
their body rejects it, and either they get super sick and they have to get it removed by a professional, or
Well, this is
it
how it
just
all links
doesn't do it.
together.
It serves no purpose. It's like, hey, you could either have a key card to get into your apartment, or you could go and have some crazy shit in your hand that's like sticking
Right.
out like a fucking
That's
tumor.
giving you lead poisoning, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But this is my theory on that then. See, it all links back where Joe Biden actually has the most advanced version of that, where they just put the shit linked up to his neural network and they just be joystick controlling them up on the stage, but it's going bad. It's getting worse and worse, the circuitry. So they be in there. They've been hot wiring them for the last few months. That's why we ain't seen them and shit. They're trying to get them right for elections and give them some new firmware updates and shit. And they gonna put them out there and and make them do all of the movements and shit. And then
Dude, I wouldn't even
that's gonna
be
be what happens.
surprised, dude. I honestly, I hate to even like use entertainment as like whatever as an example of something, but you even said it. Like they'll put stuff out. They, the big they will put stuff out that
Right.
kind of shows you shit that's out, but it's in like a movie or something. So you're like, oh, it's fake. But if you watch the news, there's been a bunch of shit about AI and uploading consciousness and this shit. But dude, I just watched one episode of Westworld, the new season, the season 3.
Yeah.
I don't know what's possible with robotics or AI or whatever, but the reality that they've set out in that show seems pretty plausible. And if what they can do in that show ever becomes possible in any way, even for the rich, it is the most terrifying. To me, I get panic attacks when I watch it, just thinking of putting a human mind into something where you don't die. Like you can literally take it out of something that's dying and put it into a new body, and you just
Right.
keep going no matter what. And you could look at any way you want, you could, whatever. But I don't think that that's out of the realm of possibility. And if they're showing it, maybe it does exist. Maybe Joe Biden is some fucking rickety
Well,
ass
this is the thing.
robot that they're trying to get to work right. And they're like, well, I mean, everyone thinks he's old. Like, just keep working on it, and eventually it's gonna kick on, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, man. Telling you, bro. He's like, they just now are perfecting the technology where they're like, we can bring it out to the public. You know what I'm saying? But my thing with it is like exactly what you're saying is true. Cause I remember there was recently a video where they were showing that they can take any video, right, of anybody. Like I think they were doing it with Joe Rogan, where they can make an AI person in video now, where they can make it look like you're saying shit that you're not saying in a video, and it's almost indistinguishable from the real thing. You know what I'm saying? So like even in that, then you always hear like Trump saying like fake news and shit. So then it makes you wonder like how fake is the news? You know what I'm saying? Like are they fucking CGI in words in people's mouths and shit now? Like I mean, because that's actually kind of an easy thing to do. And then you're saying like, yeah, could they control a person? Bro, they've already shown they could clone shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they showed us that shit back in the early '90s when they cloned that sheep. And come to find out, they be feeding people that shit, right?
I mean, that's what that shit is, right? I know that has to exist in some way. I know that they were working on it.
What I understand about the clone meat thing is that the only way that it's not legal to feed people clone meat, but the only way that they stop it is they make the companies regulate it themselves. So like basically, if a company was doing it, the only way they would know is if someone told on them working there or if they told on themselves. But essentially, there's no law saying that they can't sell you clone meat. You know what I'm saying? The only way you can really 100% know that it's not is if you get organic, supposedly. But you know, I just feel like that's a hustle. That's all of a hustle too. So we can get in all of that. But essentially, bro, my thing is that what I'm saying is that they show you some shit and then they actually be doing that shit. Like it ain't no secret that right now iPhone got an iPhone better than everybody iPhone right now, right? You know what I'm saying? Like that's a real thing. Like that's a private company. So why wouldn't the government have that iPhone or have one equally as good, if not better? You see what I'm saying? So now flip that to a gun, flip that to, you know, some fucking invisibility technology or whatever you want to jump down the rabbit hole in and think it exists. It probably do. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I'm just, like I said, I don't want to be sounding like the only crazy person in this shit. And it's always me just talking about some crazy, you know, the government trying to kill us and shit. But I told you, bro, I be looking at historical shit, dog. You can go back in the past and look at mad instances in where when they had the opportunity to do the right thing, they fucking didn't and they screwed us over, dog. Just name it. You know what I'm saying? Like Iraq, 9/11, motherfucking you could say Cuban Missile Crisis, like all them shits,
JFK.
bro. You know what I'm saying? Vietnam, JFK, that's what I'm saying. Like you go down the list, Martin Luther King, like all these different things where it's like we could have made a better day, and it's just like, you know, they don't want that shit to happen, dog. Like that's what I want to say is like the real thing. Like even with all this Black Lives Matter shit, like that's what's terrifying to me about it is that you know the government infiltrates agencies and shit and secret, you know, different organizations or whatever. It makes you wonder like was all this shit organized from the rip? You know what I'm saying? Because like I mean, to a degree, I don't really feel like they have a goal in mind of achieving some brighter day. Like I just want to. That's why I was asking you the other day, like, what does 5 years from now look like? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd love to ask some of them Black Lives Matter people, like, what do y'all want to happen in 5 years? Like, because you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all want solutions and shit. Like, you want to live to see the change, right? So, like, what is it? You know what I mean?
It's
I don't
really
even know if
fucked
people
up
got that
where you
answer.
can't even get. If I could find somebody that would sit down and talk to me that had a differing opinion, like I don't know a lot of people that would disagree with most of what I'm saying. Maybe some stuff they could nitpick, but generally I think everyone can agree on that shit. Maybe not some of the deeper shit, but if you got even in a room with somebody that disagreed, at this point, like I don't feel like anybody's wanting to have a discourse about anything. It's either you're on one team or you're on the other team, and you just all dick suck each other's team until you get into the election, and let's see what happens. But nobody's just sitting down on anything and talking about this shit. Not even on like shit like Joe Rogan or something where they kind of have like differing opinions on every once in a while. Maybe there is something that I'm unaware of, but just for the general public, every time I see anybody talking about this where they have two different opinions, it just is them yelling at each other and arguing. There's no like thinking of how to get it through this or how to get past this or what's going on or how we can stop it or how we can improve something. It seems to be like what you said, where it's basically the only thing is acknowledging something, but there's nothing done to make anything better.
Right.
It's like, okay, we all know there's a systemic racism. Great. Let's, okay. I mean, I guess we're going to that's it.
We just
Like I don't
calling
even,
everybody out. Yeah, I mean, we're just calling everybody out and getting people in trouble. I mean, I'm cool
great.
with, you know, calling the shit out for what it is, but at the same time, like, it's like let he without sin cast the first stone type of shit, man. Like I can't say I ain't never said nothing fucked up, you know what I'm saying? So like I would want to give somebody a second chance or, you know,
I'm
the
not a
benefit of the
perfect
doubt, you
person
know
at
what I mean?
all. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
you know
think
what I mean?
anybody
Yeah.
is, but I just want to have, like, I just think that for the most part, I would hope that most people are just want everybody to be cool. Like, I don't know a lot of people that just go around hating on everything and just want, like, fuck everybody. It's just me. I try to help anybody I can that I know that asks in whatever way I can, and I try to be there for everybody and stuff. And I just don't know anybody that would really want to be part of all this fucking bullshit. And even like, I just don't want to be around them. So, like I said,
Well,
let's
they're
find
going
some
about it the
fucking
wrong way.
property. Let's get
Hell
out
yeah.
of the city. Let's all move to this one place to get start growing giant weed plants and giant fucking tomato plants and shit. I mean, even in this society, I feel like that's got to be possible in some way if you can figure out how to do that, because you can still sell that shit for money. That's still worth
Yeah.
something. So if you can actually do that and people are down and actually put in, but it's just never gonna happen, dude. It's like one of
Well,
those
my
things
biggest
where I would
critique
love it. But
of a lot of what's going on, though, I will say, man, too, is just that, like, yeah, they're calling out a lot of people that have been doing racist shit from a long time ago, but like, I feel like, you know, it's just not a good look all the way around, man. Just in the sense of like, you're almost putting it where if these people get caught, then they're ostracized. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want it to be where, like, okay, for example, like, let's say there was a bag full of cookies on the kitchen counter, right? And your mom said, "Don't nobody eat no cookies," but then your cousin get one, your older brother got one. Everybody except you and one other person didn't get a cookie. So then when they come back and it's time to ask who got the cookies, and nobody tells, and then everybody get one anyway because your mom gives them out, it's like, damn, I should have just stole one too, type of shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like that's kind of what's going on with this racism shit, where it's like, man, I said something bad back in the day, but if I fess up to it, they gonna say I was racist. And then if I get caught, they gonna say I was racist. Like, I can't really apologize. Like, it just don't seem like what you're offering these people isn't is a terrible, terrible offer. It just I'm not even saying that they deserve any forgiveness necessarily neither, but I'm just saying, like, on from the standpoint of looking at it from their side, it's a terrifying time because it's like, damn, bro, anything I said, like, I said that joke one time about that dude could come back and say something, or maybe they took this the wrong way, and it's like, I'm not really like that. I just was playing, you know what I mean? And then it's like, I just feel like, where do we meet people in the middle? You know what I'm saying? Because that's really what's gonna have to happen at a certain point. You know what I mean? But I just feel like the way they're going about it is like literally like, no, you did something wrong, so now we gonna beat your ass, and you know what I'm saying, call you out, and it ain't no redemption for you. You know what I'm saying? Or like, and it's like, I don't know, man. I just don't know how you ever help anybody doing that shit. So, like I said, you're on mute, I think, man.
sorry about that.
Oh yeah.
Just like calling people out on stuff. If it's just for me, I I mean, obviously, I don't know. I just for speaking for myself. If I'm judged on something I said or wrote when I was like 20, and I'm 36 now, about to be 37, I don't even want to be some of the shit that you and I used to talk about back in the day, like
Right.
3 or 4 years ago. Like, I don't want to be judged by that. Like, I'm so much of a different person, but I guess it is what it is. Like, there's a lot of people getting busted. And I mean, if you're a bad person, you deserve to get fucked royally for that shit, especially if you
For
were
sure.
dumb enough to put it out. But it's like, if it's just somebody talking and they're not, you look at them 10 years later and they're a good person, they're trying their best to improve, and you're like, no, fuck you. You tweeted this shit 10 years ago. It's like,
That's what I'm
uh,
saying.
and you can't say anything about it. It's like you have to abide by it, or you're part of the problem at this point. And
That's
I
what I'm
don't.
saying, man. So I don't know. Like, I don't want to say that I'm like taking it easy on these people, but I mean, you saw what they did to Kevin Hart, man. And like, that
Yeah,
was some
no,
shit that was
that's
kind of
who I
like,
was gonna bring up. I was like, it's kind of
yeah,
tough to bring this up right now because like Crystal Lee is getting lambasted over some shit too, and that's crazy. I don't know what's going on with that, but like sexual shit, that shit is a different level. But if it's just words and it's like what that Kevin Hart shit, I mean, there's so many instances of that. Like, how far are you going to go back on just some crazy language that was used? Because you really want to go back. I mean, there's some shit on SNL in the 70s when they were first coming up that would be horrifying to people if they watched. Just like watching Eddie Murphy stand up,
I
like
mean,
Raw.
Disney Plus aired all their old shit and said in it, it was like, man, this shit ain't how we view our shit no more. But so might be some touchy subject matter in this, but it was a different time, and that's
Yeah,
just kind of
right.
what it was. You know what I mean? And it's just like, because they already know they're trying to get out in front of it, but once again, that just shows you that all this shit has always existed too. Like everything that we're talking about, the racial shit. But I said, I just feel like in order to kind of get out, like everybody past this, there needs to be a plan in which everybody says, all right, man, this, all's forgiven in the sense of like that shit was fucked up. Now let's just try to move forward. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really feel like even, to a degree, like, yeah, I feel like black people are owed something, but in terms of like getting a check or something like that, I don't think we're owed that. I think what should happen is that it should just be that like, just let up. You know what I'm saying? Like, just give a motherfucker a break, man. Because like a lot of the shit that's been going on is just like on some crazy like ultimate white people shit that even as a white person, I know you got to be like, God damn, y'all some nosy motherfuckers, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, just leave people alone, man. Like, that's half the reason why I be getting this shit in people in the streets, bro. Like, I swear to God, like, I be going places, people be like, what you doing? It's like, minding my goddamn business, and then like they be, you know what I'm saying? Like they be knowing don't start shit with me, because I be looking at people off the rip like, yo, I ain't the one, y'all. But at the same time, like,
You basically
that's
have
half of
to
the,
now.
yeah, I mean, that's half the shit that people be getting into, though, bro. It's just like somebody just up in somebody else's business, man, and it's just like you have no authority to be, fucking arguing with people out in the streets, bro. You're not a cop, you know what I'm saying? And then like if it is a cop and they step in, like let it be to a sense where like I think a true cop needs to be trained up where they can control the crowd with their voice, you know what I'm saying? Like, and just the badge alone, like that needs to be one of your first options before you just go straight to, deadly force and shit. But that's a whole nother thing too. I think they don't get enough money, you know what I'm saying? I think that's a lot of everybody problem. Not everybody paid enough, man. We live in a world that's built for one type of person that very few of us are, you know what I mean? So like I don't know, man. Like I just think, like I said, part of the issue is we need to just meet halfway and just kind of start talking about shit, start making plans. Cause right now it just looks like everybody just aimlessly just pissed off. That's what I was saying about Trump. Like he's the ultimate answer to that. You're just pissed off and shit. You're out of control. He's the perfect candidate for you. You know what I'm saying? You're upset about some shit that don't make no sense. He don't make no sense. Boom. There you go. So then, you know what I mean? To me, I think a lot of people in that boat, man. And
Yeah, he just feels so low hanging fruit guy. He's like the guy.
Yeah.
He's like some fucking redneck who hates all, like, who is racist. Is like, listen to him talking about Mexicans and shit. Yeah, I can sympathize with that shit. Hell
Right.
yeah. And it's like that guy shouldn't even vote at all anyway. He just, somebody like that shouldn't vote. But that Trump will get that kind of trash out to actually vote for his ass. But even talking about voting, it just seems silly because I don't think the popular vote don't mean a goddamn thing. So what are we talking about?
I mean, at this point, man,
It
I don't
doesn't
think that.
matter even in the structure they've set up, and it doesn't
Right.
matter even more because just the last election, Trump lost the popular vote and still won. So what the fuck is the matter other than being like, I did the right thing, which is good, but it doesn't, ultimately, if it doesn't do anything, then you're not going to be remembered for that. You're just going to be remembered as somebody who voted for the losing candidate, which you can't even remember some of the losing candidates in the last like 3 or 4 elections. Name them.
I mean, I kind of can, but like, John Kerry, Al Gore and shit. Who did Trump? Who did Biden beat, man? I mean, Obama. Oh, Biden. Who did Obama beat, man? I don't know that one. Who did he run against?
Was it Mitt Romney?
Oh no, it was whatchamacallit. Oh boy, the POW.
Oh, John McCain.
John McCain, yeah, that's who it was. Honestly, man, like he probably like what happened to him? Didn't he like get sick or something, right? Because he was one of the few Republicans that was making sense out there, trying to talk to people and meet and find understanding. But I think he got sick or something and like kind of had to step down from his seat in Arizona. I mean, because he was really old, man.
No, I don't know. I mean, it's just crazy that I don't think that guy. I think, I don't know if is he alive?
I think so, but like I think he just got sick, man, and had to kind of chill out. I don't think he died though. I'm about to look it up now because now I'm scared about my boy John Mitt.
Johnny Mac.
Oh, it says was a politician. Oh yeah, he died in 2018.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought he died. So I
Yeah.
mean, that guy was a legit dude, but it's like people like that. Also, it's kind of hard for me because a lot of times, like those people that are veterans like that, um, they have some hard stances on some views that I don't necessarily
Yeah.
agree with. So it's like I respect the fuck out of that guy because I mean, for real, went through some shit and is a like legit man, but um, some of his just stances on politics and just social issues is like, man, I don't agree
Well,
with
you know what's
that.
crazy about Republicans too, man, is that I feel like more than half of the people that vote that way is just because of God. You know what I'm saying? Like they might not even necessarily care about a lot of the other things that they talk about in terms of like building a wall and all of that shit. Like, but it's just like, well, I'm against abortion and I'm for Jesus, so I'm gonna vote that way. And it's like, honestly, those two things really don't even have nothing. Shouldn't have nothing to do with your political stance. Abortion shouldn't be a political issue. It should be a health issue. You know what I'm saying? Like it shouldn't be like you shouldn't be voting like do you need a moxicillin or not? You know what I'm saying? You don't vote on that shit when you go to hospital, right?
Dude,
So why does somebody get a say on if you get a baby or not? You know what I mean? Like
I'll never forget that when I was in high school, I think it was, yeah, like right when around George W. Bush got elected the first time. There was some kid, I can't remember who it was, but I mean, dude, I was like 17, so this guy was at maybe 18 max. And he was talking about how he didn't believe that women should be able to have abortions, which is why he was going to vote Republican because he was going to be 18 when the election came around. And I remember thinking like, I haven't even fucked a woman, so I don't. But like I knew what abortion was, and I was like, it doesn't make sense to want somebody to not be able to do that, and for all the reasons that you people have brought up,
right,
whatever it is. But this guy, like, his family was Republican, and they had brainwashed this young kid who
right.
had never even touched the pussy or anything or whatever. He never conceived of even having a child at that point of his life, but he was like, I don't want women to be able to have an abortion. And I just remember being like, God damn, that is fucked up.
Crazy, man. And like I said, that's not even a political issue. That's a health thing. You see what I'm saying? Because like it's different instances for every fucking thing, dude. Like it might be that if a woman has the baby, she'll die. You see what I'm saying? So like maybe she has to get one, or maybe the baby gonna be sick if she's trying to have it. So it's all type of different options. But all I'm saying is that shit don't make fucking sense, bro. And like, if the reason why you're with a political party is religion or health, then you shouldn't be with them in the first place because that has
Yeah.
nothing to do with politics, bro. Like I said, politics is really the management of our money, and like as a whole. You know what I mean? Like our tax money. How are y'all doing the best plans with that shit? And we just get caught up in shit that has nothing to do with any of that shit.
Plus,
Like for
like,
example,
it doesn't go to us. Like, none of it
yeah,
helps the people. They're like, well,
yeah, I'm about
let's
to say
buy this
schools
new
suck,
fucking bomb or some
hospitals suck.
shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like none of that shit goes to anything to help any of us. The roads suck, the hospitals suck, the bridges suck, the water suck, the trash overflowing. Like if y'all motherfuckers was the landlord, we would have been kicked y'all ass out. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? We would have moved.
we would
So
have
that's why I
moved.
don't. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So that's why I don't understand why like motherfuckers is out here rooting for America like this when it's like really we need to do some finger pointing and be like, yo, you supposed to be in charge, motherfucker. Like, what the hell's going on? You know what I mean? It's like if you was in at any project at your job or something, you would be like, oh, you the team leader, bro. Like the team is some shit. Like, what's happening, bro? You supposed to be Jordan out here. You looking like goddamn, you know what I'm saying? Sean Bradley or some shit. Like, come on, man. Like, get the shit together. So I
I
don't
don't
know,
think
man.
I don't think accountability is on the top of the list for any politician.
Well,
They're not keeping that. They're not keeping a running tally of all the good shit that they've done. They don't really.
right.
How much money do I
Or
got?
right. Or the bad shit. We know for sure. But yeah, man, I'm just kind of over it, man. And I'm hoping that, some point here everybody will wake up and see this, but I don't know, dog. But
Bro,
yeah, we've been talking about this for a minute. I don't know if you wanted to hit one of your topics real quick.
yeah, I was
I
gonna
tried to
say,
bring up your
like something that we could do to take our minds off of this
yeah,
awful, hellish landscape of politics that we all live around and are connected to, is movies. specifically remakes of movies, and even more specifically, in the holiday season, apparently Jason Momoa, Mr. Aquaman himself, is gonna turn into some ice cubes and become the new Jack Frost, which is just a CGI'd snowman. And then they're making a remake of that. So, one, Aaron, I know that you didn't even know who Jason Momoa was, which is just mind-boggling. But
I knew who he was.
what do you think about Hollywood remakes? And even before we get to that, I don't think this. I hate this. I don't care for Jack Frost as a movie anyway, even though it's been done ad nauseum. But there is one Jack Frost that I think people may or may not know about, which is actually an R-rated horror movie that came out in the 90s, where the soul of a serial killer, I believe, or maybe he's in a chemical spill, something where
Isn't there a flip one of that where like isn't it like Robin Williams or like
I think it's Michael Keaton. There's a nice one.
turns into a good snowman, right? Yeah.
That's the good one. That's the remake. It's
Okay.
whatever. That's already been done. But there's an R-rated one that may or may not have even come out around the same time, because I remember like the boxes being near each other. But anyway, one thing that I just remember that was really fucked up about this horror movie was at one point, I believe, a crudely created actual snowman, a person in a costume. There was a scene where he's killing people. That's what it is. He's like a serial killer who's become a snowman. I believe he sexually assaults a woman, and his carrot nose moves down to where his dick is supposed to be. I think that happened.
I feel like I remember that too from that movie for some reason. I mean, to me though, like that's just like that's not even that big of a leap in terms of writing, because just like, well, what I'm saying is just like in a sense of like,
no,
it's terrible. It's terrible. The snowman's killing people. But what's worse than being killed by a snowman? Well, being sexually assaulted by a snowman. It's fucking terrible. You see what I'm saying? Like,
how do you film that? Like, my thing is writing it. Okay, you wrote it. It's maybe 2 or 3 people that wrote that, but they had a fucking studio filled with people lighting the scene. The craft services guy.
And probably were dying laughing.
And there's just like this stumbling, shitty fucking costume.
Oh, bro, they probably were dying laughing.
Chick like, ah, ah.
What's really fucked up is maybe this is just some crazy Mandela effect shit, and it's never even happened. But I think this is just if me and Matt were to write a snowman movie, there would be a snowman sexual assault. So I don't want to say that this movie.
Though. It would be like the Michael Keaton one, but it's like R-rated, but it's like a positive one where he's like maybe some guy. It's like Ghost, but instead of him being a ghost, he's the snowman. So his wife, just to sort of consummate their love one last time, has relations with the snowman, but in a really tasteful way, like a cinematic way, you know.
I mean, I'm just
the nose would stay where it would be.
Sex and snowman. Yeah, I just feel like.
You need this, like this thing, like.
Oh god. Oh god.
Maybe some maybe a fun.
To see like the third bottom, like the bottom circle ball of the snowman just thrusting.
That would be hilarious. Okay.
Like, oh god, yeah, that's enough of that.
No,
I mean, we missed our.
I'm gonna make that.
You know, we missed our calling being porn directors, man. I don't know if we want to delve too deep in it, but in terms of Hollywood remakes,
you did.
I'll tell you a movie that
I'll tell you. No, let me tell. I'm going to tell somebody. I'm going to give everybody a little bit of background about you as a person, because one thing that used to fascinate me when I was first becoming friends with Aaron in film school was that we would have to write scripts for many classes, even like not big ones. Maybe it was like a short film, or maybe it was even just a description of something for a lighting class. But everyone would feel what it would be like, oh, here's a bunch of Tarantino ideas, or here's some stupid shit. Aarons would always go full sexual in some way, where he'd be like, "Yeah, this lighting thing is gonna actually be like a sexual exploration," and
Oh God, no.
Now here's the twist, and there is a twist. We show it. We show all of it. Because what's the one major thing missing from all action movies these days, guys? Full penetration. Guys, we're gonna show full penetration, and we're gonna show a lot of it.
yeah.
What
that's
you're talking
exact-
about, no. What you're talking about is we had one class. We had one class where we were supposed to just write a crazy story using lights and stuff. And what I found out was half the class didn't even do the shit. Like half the people didn't even turn their project in. Me, I just wrote some shit and turned it in. I didn't even really know what it was. And we wound up having to actually shoot that shit. The teacher was like, "Oh yeah, this is great," because like I can write, you know, like the wording I used sounded amazing. Like I was like, "Delicate light softly touches two creatures as the, you know, they're wrapped in warmth and heavenly bliss." Like I said a whole bunch of crazy shit, so it sounded dope. But then I was like, when I actually had to shoot it, I was like, bro, I was not intending on actually ever creating this. Like this has no point.
This is
Like
just something I conceived.
yeah, like this
in
was
a
this,
feverish beat off session in
yeah,
my mind.
exactly. That was like you know, it was like I just got to write 2 pages and then I can watch this porno and bust this nut and go to sleep. Like, that'll be my reward. Do your homework, you know, and then go to sleep. Like that's what I was working on. So then kind of find out like, oh man, you have to shoot this now, and I'm like, oh shit, like I basically wrote a Skinamax without any skin. So
I
this
don't
is gonna
remember
be a
their
little strange.
regulations. Do you think that they would have allowed us to do nudity in a movie if we
I mean, I feel like the discretion part would have been up to us because it would have just been like if you really were paying attention to them, they never looked at your raw footage. Like
No.
we looked at it, but they never looked at it.
Well,
you know
and they
what I'm saying? So,
also,
like,
I don't think they would have been paying attention
God.
like day of where we were filming, and you know they're over eating food or something, and while they're doing that,
they
we
left
just
us
are like,
alone.
take it, take it to.
Yeah, well, this is what I will say, and this just shows you how good of people that we truly are. Because if we wanted to, we could have abused our power and definitely shot a whole bunch of porno shit while we were in film school. Because on multiple instances while we were in film school and afterwards, putting microphones on women or just doing any camera stuff, I've had women just instantly jump to, "Oh, I need to take my shirt off," and we're just like about to take their shirt off in front of like 5 or 6 dudes, and it's like, yo, chill, shorty. Like,
put this piece of tape on.
Yeah. Like, just put this underneath your shirt. Keep your shirt on.
We're just holding a boom mic over your head. Like, what are you talking about?
like you jump to that real quick, shorty.
Yeah,
Like, I ain't saying that, you know, you could have asked where the bathroom is. Like, there's a whole bunch of other things.
You know, there's some scumbag guy that's doing like audition tapes in Hollywood.
You already
someplace.
know.
It's like, yeah, you're gonna need to.
Yeah, it's like, oh well, you know, we weren't thinking that, but you know, we actually, we were thinking we were gonna add a scene. So yeah, let's see that. I mean, I'm just saying, I know people could have took advantage of it, and then in terms of us, like, they gave us a camera that one class for like a month, dog. We could have just shot
that documentary.
Shit,
yeah, dude, we fucked up. We should have.
Yeah, we should have shot like 4 commercials.
We should have shot a movie.
Oh yeah, bro, you could have did mad shit with that, and then they would have been like, "Oh yeah, here's the documentary," and just had all that raw footage and on a hard drive somewhere back at the crib, bro.
I almost want to audit, because you can audit those classes for free somehow, and go back there for a month just to get access to that documentary thing, get in a group, and just be a really strong opinionated person and take control and be like, I know we were gonna shoot a documentary about this animal shelter, but we're actually going to shoot the script. So you guys just tag along and shut the fuck up.
But get this. The script is about a guy that goes into a documentary class and decides he's going to make a movie about a bank robbery in which the bank robbery is real.
That would be even better if you, like, not that, but to have get the documentary crew, right? But somehow have access to other equipment. So you're filming the movie and you're like, you guys are going to document, and this is fake. This is all fake. We just want it to look
right.
You're going to shoot me making this fake movie and just make a documentary about it. So not only do you
Right.
get access to a B-roll or to an actual like documentary about making a movie, so you can have an extra, you make a movie and boom, it's all done. And then you can use the editing kids to be like,
It all
if
links,
you want a
man.
little experience, come on.
Right.
You're not
You know
going
what
to
I'm
get
saying,
it.
man?
But you're in Orlando. You're not going to do shit.
You just hustle full sail into you shoot like 4 free movies, basically, man. Honestly, I feel like this is gonna be the move. I mean, just need to cut this whole part of the podcast out so we can keep that on the low, so they don't have any proof of the intention.
I don't think
You
they're
know,
listening. Gary Jones
I'm all
is too rich.
yeah,
So.
I'm all for this plan though. Just like we just gotta get back to any class and be like, yeah, sure, yeah.
Just
you
one
little
with a camera.
yeah.
We just need
Right.
that. That's what we need. Is
Right.
one, where do you get a camera? Access to a camera and maybe some lighting
Right.
equipment.
I'm like, yeah, your little idea is cool, but we were thinking something more like this. Okay.
I mean, none of those
You
kids,
see?
like, you remember what we were like, and
Oh, yeah.
even the kids
We
that
could push 'em-
maybe
we could
were a
push 'em
little more
around.
opinion. But if we went over there now, I'd be like, listen, first of all, shut the fuck up. Like, we know what's going on, and
Right.
we're gonna help
Have
you
you been
out.
to LA? Have you been to Hollywood? We were
Yeah.
there. Okay. Like, get this shit.
We've been
come on,
down
man.
there. I've been living in LA, struggling, mother.
Just gotta just talk fast. Hell yeah, bro. But
I mean,
I mean,
that'd be
speaking of
hilarious.
remakes, though, man, like that would be my move, though. You just like hype them up to just, like, you seen Boys in the Hood? It's gonna be the remake right here, man. Like we got this guy. I casted him already. Look at him, man. He's tough. Like you just fucking just make shit happen, bro. Like no
I
matter
mean,
what. Just
we need.
fast
Here's
talking.
what we do. We
Bow
just
finger
do
shit.
that the Mortal Kombat thing with WWE athletes, whatever you want to call them, and then they're already in Orlando, and then we just do that there. Mortal Kombat, WWE, they produce, budget it, we shoot it, and then that it is what it is. We basically just remake Mortal Kombat from the 90s with
Well, I
WWE
mean,
athletes.
definitely need the budget part. Man,
Well, they
but,
have
I mean,
that.
yeah.
They have that.
Yeah.
Vinnie Mac, he's got endless ends. He can help us out.
But nah, man, I'm down with that. But yeah, man, like in terms of remakes too, though, bro, I'd love to just see like, them remake like a fun movie from the '90s, but just like have it be like hella dramatic, where it's like they remake Ninja Turtles or some shit, but instead like this time like Michelangelo's got like a fucking drug problem and shit, and like
I
Ralph
don't know if
goes
they'll
out.
do that.
Well, then, like Ralph goes out in the streets to try to save him, and he's like, Mike, man, get this shit. Like, it's this dramatic ass scene. He slaps it out of his hands, and they get in like a fucking kung fu battle. You know what I mean? But
Dude,
because
watch the first
Mike's
one from the 90s, bro.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like
That movie
like,
is dramatic. That
it
movie
is. That's what I'm saying.
legit.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, imagine if you go even deeper, where like, Leonardo's got a girlfriend, but she's like secretly working for a shredder. So like, she's like infiltrated the sewers and shit, but Donatello don't trust her. You know what I mean? So it's like some underhanded shit going on. Like I said, and everything would just always end with like a crazy dramatic fight scene, but at the same time, like them talk about some real world shit. You know what I'm saying? Where it just be like, Donatello's fighting him. He's like, but you left me, Leo. You fucking left me, man. Shredder was gonna take my life. What then? What?
You've been
like,
writing this?
I'm just saying, dog. Can't you just feel like the fucking heat? Just like that's what it would be, like the heat of the night, but with fucking Ninja Turtles and shit, dog. Just like
Dude. Well, first of all, you're gonna find out what's gonna happen because Seth Rogen's they're remaking Ninja Turtles, like a live action
see?
one. So they're actually doing this, but who knows? This is I mean, I would love to see a more adult Ninja Turtles as somebody who loves that in general, but my remake that I think is still totally doable, with the exception of one character, which I think they could be replaced or something could be explained, but The Last Dragon could be remade now. It could be remade, or you could make a like spiritual sequel to it, because Timac, the main character from it, I mean, he looks almost the same, other than the hair's a little bit different. It was all about music, was so big part of it. You could do it right now. do like a next Karate Kid thing, like they did with Jaden Smith, and have it be a younger dude that he's teaching, and somehow, I mean, sure enough, I think the guy's
I mean,
dead, but
it would be a great movie just because like he could stop bullets with his teeth. So in
yeah.
there, you just have like this crazy scene where the cops are about to kill Bruce Leroy, but he catches the bullet in his mouth, and
Oh,
then
I
he's just
didn't even
like,
think of that, dude. Like,
"Yeah,
all the
man, you gotta
fucking
put
like
the
actual real. Holy
you gotta put the
fuck.
real life shit into it, bro." That's what
He
I just was
busts
talking about with
cops'
Ninja Turtles.
asses. Damn, that would be
See what I'm
so
saying?
sick.
And he
If
gets
he
the
was-
hood right. Like he's like, then he starts training up the little warriors in the hood to be like,
Dude,
you know what I'm saying, the next level of
cut this.
the dragons and shit.
That's
Bro,
it.
don't get me started, dog.
I
I'm
will
fucking
make.
raw,
I
bro.
love this. I do
I'm
like
fucking
that.
raw, man. I told you, dog. I'm raw with it, man.
But another movie I think would be good, but I mean, it's a classic. I think people would be kind of pissed that you remade it, but that movie, The Warriors, would be dope if you remade that now too. That movie would be actually kind of cool if you could do it with either. I mean, I don't know. Now it sounds kind of cheesy, but like we were talking about state property.
Yeah.
If it was like something like that, but Warriors was like this. That was the structure of like warring gangs.
There's no cool rappers now more. All those
Yeah.
guys that were cool back in the day are all fat, and all the young rappers now all look crazy as fuck. Like,
Bro,
it's
Ice
like this little kid with
Ice
red
Cube
hair.
is just thick, dude. He ain't fat, bro.
All I'm saying is, if Ice Cube was the leader of your gang and he's like, "Yo, better get in line, homie," like I'd be like, "Bro, get your old ass out of here, dude. Like you need to be fucking watching somebody kids right now, your old ass, bro." Ice Cube is like 55, dog. Like Ice Cube is not young, man. Like he's like 52, bro. Like I'm sure.
Bro, Ice Cube will whoop your ass, bro.
I probably would. I'm just saying though, he ain't young neither. All I'm saying is, I'm just like, if you're the leader of the gang, like, is this a gang for fucking, you know, geriatrics and shit? Like, are we rolling up on fucking clinics and shit? Like, that's
Maybe.
all I'm saying. Hey, I mean, that's fine.
Maybe that's what it is. It's grumpy old men mixed with warriors with
Oh, God.
old out of date rappers that are not like.
Oh man.
too short
Now that
to
would be a
out
funny
there.
movie right there. Grumpy old men with Snoop Dogg and Ice Cube. Like, man, motherfucker.
I mean, Snoop Dogg for sure. I don't know who the other guy would be. Not Ice Cube.
He's the Ice Cube's
Ice
the whole,
Cube.
the holy, you know. He's the wholesome one of the bunch.
I mean, I
He's
guess.
the one everybody loves. He's got the award-winning smile, bro. He's got that $1 million money maker. I always thought it was funny that in every Friday, Ice Cube had to get some pussy though. Like it was just like everybody else, you know.
That was what always got him
happened.
into trouble, bro. It was always the
I mean,
fucking snatch he was chasing.
It just was funny that was like the perfect, you know, period on the day where it's just like, and then Ice Cube got some pussy, fade to black. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you could tell, like he wrote that script where it was just like, and then I got some.
You know,
ass.
Mike Epps like, yo, Ice, can Day Day use
I
the
guess
pussy
so.
in this
Yeah,
one?
what's up? I'm
Man,
like,
hell no.
Nah, man, not in this one, man. Maybe in Friday after Thursday the 3rd, we'll get you some booty, man.
Day
But other
Day
than
gonna
that,
get his own movie someday.
yeah, man. But I just always thought that was funny, man. Like that was just like, you know, the best way you can win. I mean, hey, to me, like that does sound like a great end to any day. You know what I mean? And a great start to any day as well. But I just thought that was just like Ice Cube almost dies in every movie, and then it's like, yeah, I fucking narrowly escaped death 13 times. The Mexicans was finna kill me, girl. You know what's up? I'm ready to make some love. Like I'd be like, man, I'm about to go to church tomorrow, yo. Like fuck all this, like on type of day they just had. It's like, bro, a crackhead.
I mean, in the first one, he went straight from getting his ass, like a straight brawl, getting his ass whooped, to
against the
getting
scariest
up and
person in the
being
world.
like, yo, I'm okay, girl. I'd be like, oh, shut the fuck up. Like, give me a second.
Right. I need to go to the hospital. Like,
Yeah.
fucking Debo, bitch ass.
Who is talking to me, man? Shut up.
Right, man. Exactly. That's why I just be like crying. It's just like, girl, I'm fucking seeing stars right now, man.
I mean,
like,
that's
I
just
don't even
what
think I
Ice
should go to
Cube
sleep.
is, dude. He's tougher than us.
Hey, man. Maybe that's why he's leading the game. Yeah,
He's
maybe
one
I'm
of
wrong.
my favorite all-time. I mean, if not my favorite, he's top 3 of my all-time favorite rappers of all time. So we can debate that. We can talk. I'm sure people want to say that
Hey,
he's not.
speaking of old
but
movies
he's-
and remakes, speaking of old
Don't
movies and
ever
remakes,
talk.
real quick,
Do not invoke
rappers.
an Ice Cube remake. at
No,
all.
no, 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 no. I'm not gonna hate. I all love Ice Cube. I know that's your boy. But
Okay.
speaking of that, do you remember there's a Halloween H2O movie in which Busta bus on Michael Myers?
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
Remember that movie? When it's like Busta Rhymes is in like a burning building with Michael Myers and he just whoops his ass
Oh,
and shit.
dude, isn't that crazy? Like Busta Rhymes, he was in the Shaft remake too. He was in
In
the
the what
he was in the
movie?
first Shaft movie that Samuel L. Jackson was in.
I don't
He
even
was
remember
like
being in that.
the driver in it or
Oh,
something.
that's crazy. I don't even remember that.
Because
Yeah, I
because
just think
Samuel L.
looks so
Jackson
different
goes
now,
into his
man.
apartment. Oh, dude, he looks. I mean, I don't know if it's muscle or fat. I mean, there's a lot of both. I think. He's a big boy.
That's a lot of He got some egg foo young up on his face, bro.
Watch,
His head
watch
looks
him
fat.
in that crazy Janet Jackson video where they're like liquid robots from back in the 90s.
Looks like a whole nother dude, man.
It doesn't
Yeah.
look the same dude at all. It's crazy.
Yeah, he
Lot of
looks crazy
steroids.
now, bro.
A lot of steroids.
That's I'm about to say that's gluten, bro. That motherfucker just look nasty, dog. That ain't no. If he I'm about to say if he doing steroids, he need to stop because them shit is not working for you, homie. It's like, yo, dude. It's like the
You
power.
better watch your fucking ass. Busta Rhymes will come in here and just bear hug
probably
you to
would.
death.
He probably would, bro. He big enough too. Shit, he got enough blubber to wrap me up. Shit.
Oh my god!
It's
This
like
is called Aaron throws shade at every rapper that could whoop his.
Hey man, hey look,
Busta
Ice
Rhymes
Cube.
is.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'll
He's right
square up
behind
with
me,
Ice
bro.
Cube. Me and Ice Cube, I'll square up off rip. Busta Rhymes, I don't know if I fight Busta Rhymes. Like,
I don't know how big he is, like how tall he is.
I think Busta Rhymes like probably your size, bro. I think he like 6'4", dog.
Wow.
But I think he probably like pushing 300 too. That's what I'm saying. Like, I club punch Busta Rhymes. I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. I fight him, but it ain't gonna be no square brawl. I'm gonna be look, straight off rip.
He's 6'1" according to the internet, and I mean I don't know about 300, but
he looked like he pushing 300. He fat as shit, bro.
My wife's shaking her
Rhymes,
head. Apparently, she thinks you're exaggerating.
Busta Rhymes looking chunky, dog. Like, go pull up a picture of Busta Rhymes real quick.
I looked at it. I just saw one.
His eyes are surrounded by fat, bro. Like his eyeball sockets is fat, bro. Like that's when you know you need to chill out. What are you eating? Especially when, like you said, you see what he look like.
I think this is what it is. He used to be a younger guy. He was working out. He was drinking a lot back in the day, partying.
He was doing a lot of something.
He's drinking still, but he's getting that drink weight where you start like. There's a comedian named Dom Irrera who he's drunk in his face into where he has like you can't see his eyeballs. It just slits. And I don't think Busta Rhymes there. That's not I mean, guys, Busta, I'm
think
sorry.
so.
Mr. Rhymes, I am so sorry that my partner here is fucking.
You can apologize all you want. I'm calling the bullshit out of like I see it. You know,
I see some. Bro. That's all I'm saying. He's gonna square up on you and just.
I'm not worried about
Show Enough's replacement in that Diddy video, if you remember. So
not no more. He ain't gonna be showing up replacement no more, motherfucker. Be goddamn E Honda replacement. It'd be
Honda replacement. Dude, how dare you? You know I'm talking very reckless. I can't fight, so I'm not gonna call anybody.
I didn't say I was gonna rap against Busta Rhymes.
Oh, you're gonna rap against.
No, I didn't say I was gonna rap. I said I was gonna fight him. See what I'm saying? Like if it was a rap contest, like yeah, I would say I was gonna lose, but if I had to fight Busta Rhymes, you know. I'm putting the wager my way just off of the strength that if I'm really starting to lose, I'll bite that motherfucker, dog.
But he's eating a lot, like you said. He might bite you right back and take a big old piece.
I'll fucking headbutt that bitch, bro. Like chop him in his throat. I'll do some dirty ass shit where it's just like, God damn, it's supposed to be an honorable match, man. He'd be like, nah.
Please note that the views expressed by Aaron are not the views of the Ain't Life Funny podcast.
Bro, if I ever get in a fight,
do not approach Matthew and try to whoop his ass because of the reckless nature of Aaron's words.
Bro, you get in a fight with me, dog. Next thing you know, I just Cobra Kai, sweep the leg.
Who is okay? Let's talk. Like you are talking shit. So here's the celebrity I think I could be. John Mulaney. I think I could beat that guy in a fight, but that's as tough as I could get. You seem to think you could beat up Busta Rhymes. So who is the celebrity where you call it where it's like that might be a good fight? Pause it for a second.
Yeah, that shit
But
went,
you heard
yeah,
what
that shit
I
went
said.
crazy.
So who I could fight? Did you hear what I said?
You were saying like who do I think would be a good match for you?
No. Okay. Yeah. Who do you think I could fight? I'll tell, and I've already said that to me, the celebrity just that I have in mind who I might actually be able to fight and win or at least not get embarrassed is John Mulaney. That's like the toughness level I'm talking. So anybody like a Busta Rhymes or fucking
John Mulaney is that skinny ass comedian.
yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying, dude. I
give
ain't
yourself more
fighting.
credit than that. I would
Okay.
give you like I think you could beat Eminem up. I would give you that.
Here's what's gonna happen. He's gonna just destroy me verbally, and I'm gonna start crying, and then he'll just attack me. Could I beat him? No, I don't. You know, I really don't think I could.
Eminem is short, man. I think you could take Eminem.
Okay, well,
I think you could take Eminem.
you know what, Marshall?
Now,
I guess
I'll give you
I
I think I could give you like Justin Bieber. You could beat him.
okay, I feel like
You could
no,
beat-
but he's winning way
You could beat
better
Usher.
shape.
You could probably beat Usher up.
No. These
You
people
think
are
you take
way better
Usher?
shape, dude. These people are way.
Bro.
Plus, he has herpes.
I'm not saying.
That shit on your lip got some shit on his lip, dog.
Is that why no puff puff? Pass me Dutchie, my friends. This is nothing. I cut myself shaving.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm not saying like a clean fight. I'm just saying like if you was like if they ran up on you and y'all was in the streets, would you be scared to swing on them? Like that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like if Usher ran
okay.
up,
Well, yeah, I would
swing
still
on
be
him.
scared because I'm a pussy, but I feel like
No.
I would be less apt to be like not throw a punch on with like a Busta Rhymes than a Justin
Man.
Bieber.
Because I'm like this is me. Like I'm not saying unjustified. Just fight any of these people. I'm saying like if Busta Rhymes stepped at me talking shit, I'd beat Busta Rhymes' ass. Same thing with Ice Cube. Same thing with Justin Bieber. Same thing with motherfucking you go down the list. Usher, like I'm saying, like Usher ran up on me and was like,
Damn.
"Hey, homie, you a little
Please,
bitch." I'd be like,
I hope.
I'd be like, "What you say?" I'm like, "What you
I
say?"
mean, there's
bitch?
no
And then I
way
slap the shit
any
out
of these
Usher,
people
dog.
are listening to us, but I just hope to God that you, me, and Busta Rhymes are in some place
let it
together. I'm
happen.
like, hey, Busta, just so you know, my friend over here thinks that you're a complete pussy and that he could whoop your ass at will. So, what do you got to say about that?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if he stepped at me.
Oh, you're not
I'm
saying
saying
that.
I'm saying that if Busta Rhymes stepped at me like he wanted to get these hands, I
Well,
serve him
then
up on a
I'd
silver
walk
platter.
up
That's
low
what I'd
key
say.
when you weren't
That's
looking
what I'd
and be
say.
like, "Yo, Busta, Aaron said some shit about your wife that was just really, I mean, it was inappropriate, and I wanted to
hey,
kick his
man.
ass, but I think you ought to try."
I'll tell you
And
who
then,
wife I have seen in real life, and I will talk some shit about them. Now, I don't know if I could fight this dude because I feel like he probably would run up on me. It's Exhibit though. I see an Exhibit wife in real life.
how'd you see Exhibit's wife?
Came to my job one day, staying at the hotel I used to work at, but this motherfucker, he need to get a pimp my wife because that bitch was looking ragged, dog. He need to get...
Shade.
This is the shady. Hey man, this is the shady episode today. I'm just.
I mean, if you're a bartender, you get to see the makeup off. There's no filters on that. So hey,
I just was like, even with some makeup, bro, she was just a trash chick, though. It's like you could have did better than that, Exhibit.
was it
You
like
gotta get a.
what are we talking here? Like, and what was she? Did she look? Was she just ratchet or?
You ever seen like that episode, that show Killer Mike got where he tried to start his own country and shit, and you remember like he had this one white bitch that was from like the Renaissance Festival that was on the show playing the harp and shit, like just like a big fat white chick with dark black hair.
Okay,
like,
I can
big fat
picture a
titties.
woman like that. Okay.
That's basically what his wife looked like, and I was just like, "Damn, Exhibit, you could have did better than that for yourself."
So
dog.
Exhibit's wife is a white woman?
Oh, a fat, big old, nasty white woman, dog.
Wow.
Not just a white chick, like a fat one. That's what I'm saying. But hey, I mean, do your thing, bro. That's how you get down. I'm just saying. I felt
Maybe
like
she's
if I was
just a loyal woman and just a really good person.
I'm about to say it could be. I just thought that when I saw Exhibit, that he was just gonna have like the Cadillac of wives. That's all I was thinking. You know
like
what
a
I'm
Meg
saying?
the
Like,
Stallion from like
yeah,
12
yeah,
years ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just was expecting him to be like an Instagram chick, and he wasn't. So that's why I'm hating. But at the same time, maybe that's one of the downsides of being a celebrity. People be expecting, you to be doing more than what you're supposed to be doing. Because if he got a loving wife, she holding it down, by all means, I ain't hating on the chick. But like I said, when I was like, oh, that's Exhibit wife, I just was not, I was expecting to see something more spectacular than what I see. That's all I'm saying.
No, I mean, I understand. I mean, I think that's a valid point. That's a fucked up thing that celebrities have to deal with. It's like me, you look at me, I have batted way out of my league. So anybody that sees me and then sees my wife is like, oh, damn, like, good job. But like, if you see Exhibit, you expect to see like, at least maybe not a Tyra Banks, but like somebody that was maybe a model at some point in their life. Like
Yeah,
you'll see like an
yeah.
athlete's wife, just like somebody that was able to
Right.
be an athletic woman their whole life. So I would expect something of that nature. And you're right, when you see somebody that maybe looks like, somebody that you would see at Arby's, maybe
Right.
you just get a little disappointed for him, and that is fucked up because she's probably is nice, and hopefully she's got a nice pimped out car and shit. At least got that,
You
because
would hope
obviously
so.
she didn't get a lot of plastic surgery out of the deal. So
Yeah, you would hope so. But I mean, to each his own. Like I said, and I ain't hating, but I feel like I said, that's a pressure of fame, man.
did you
I feel like I
see
couldn't
any
live up.
celebrities? Did you see any notable people? You don't have to name names, but when you were a bartender in Nashville, did you see any saucy behavior by somebody that we would appreciate?
I don't know about
Other than
saucy
Exhibit's
behavior. I mean,
wife?
like, I waited on Fantasia.
Who's
And
Fantasia?
like winner of
Oh,
American Idol and shit. Yeah, and like, bro, she was looking fine as hell in real life.
Hey, you
And
don't
to
know
her
who
credit,
Jason Momoa is, motherfucker? Jesus.
I do know who Jason Momoa is. I had to think about it. That's all, man. Damn.
Okay. I'm
I had to
all
think about it, man. Damn. Like,
that
I don't
old
be knowing
bitch
everybody off the top of my head.
Betsy.
But I would never remember that name. But nah, I will say though, to Fantasia's credit, her man that she was with was matching what you would think a celebrity man would look like. Cause he did. He looked like some like football player or model type dude, swole, fine as hell. I was like, damn dog, like, like you over there, like shorty winning and you winning. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what you expect to see when you see a celebrity. You know what I mean? So she had it going on like that. And then I seen Reese Witherspoon.
Okay.
I don't know who she was with, but I will say to her credit, she need makeup to look good. Cause like I seen her on that little fire show. She looked mad young and shit. But when I seen her in real life, son, the shit looked kind of bust up. That shit kind of rugged. That shit was kind of rugged, bro.
She wasn't legally blonde anymore.
Yeah, she wasn't looking smooth like how she looked smooth on the camera. Cause like that, they can smooth all that shit out with makeup. You know what I mean?
I don't think people I don't think also people realize what you can do with just like basically doing Photoshop on a video. Like you can do a lot just like with some filters, just like on Instagram.
We just was talking about that. They can make you say something you ain't say. You know what I'm saying? Of course, they can move a mole off your head. You know what I mean? Like,
you remember that one time we took those headshots for that dude, and he had like the worst breakout of all time, and we somehow photoshopped all. We photoshopped.
Be doing that for people, bro. Because in my opinion, it's like if you got that shit, you got that shit. Yeah, it's like you got it, man. Like you got to go to casting like that. You gonna show up with a piece on your face and act like you know what I'm saying. You ain't take it off in the picture. That's like I'd be mad as hell if you use a casting. It's like, bro, this is not you in this fucking picture, dog.
That's
like,
what I don't get. For like some of those people we would do that for, they'd be like, "Hey, can you Photoshop it?" It's like, yeah, I can, but I don't think that they're gonna enjoy you coming in not looking like you're
right. You're a whole other fucking person.
200 miles. Like this isn't right.
And plus, I just don't like the fact that people be thinking like Photoshop is some ultimate technology. It's like, bro, that shit costs mad money to really get your shit right like that, bro. It's like, I'm not about to just sit here and be retouching your jawline up and shit and give you a whole fucking new eyebrows and all this motherfucker.
Dude, that shit is
Look,
hard,
bro.
especially if you're doing
It take
professional.
forever.
Like, I never have done anything on that level where it's like a
That should take
photography professional level Photoshop that they put in a magazine. Fuck that.
That shit takes
days.
forever. Yes, bro. That's why I'm like, nah, I'm good. It's like, yeah, it's possible, but you ain't got the money to do that shit, so don't worry about it. Don't even ask. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't, you ain't gonna pay it. Trust me. It's like, I need at least 500 off rip just to even think about doing this shit. Like, you still want me to do it? All right, then. Yeah, exactly. Go about your business. But yeah, man, I'm just throwing celebrity shade out there, bro. I'm just ready. You know, I just think, you know,
I mean,
been in the house for a
dude,
minute. Getting
people
saucy.
love celebrity shade, saucy stuff. I live
man.
in LA. I don't see a lot of celebrities. I saw
It's weird, man.
Alexander Skarsgård in Venice one time, and he didn't appreciate me looking at his motorcycle, so I don't like.
Oh, bro. Did I tell you when I met Cedric the Entertainer? Oh man, I met Cedric the Entertainer and fucking was like, it was dark in the room I was in, so I didn't really get a good look at him. And I was like, damn, you sound like Cedric the Entertainer. And he was like, I am Cedric the Entertainer. I was like, oh shit. I was like, my bad, bro. I was like, I ain't really look at you like that, man. Well, I felt stupid and shit, but he was cool though. But I was just like, oh damn, bro. I was like, I ain't want to assume that was you. I just thought you was a no, because like, you know, sometimes somebody look like somebody. I was like, man, I thought maybe just was a black dude that looked like him. I ain't want to just, you know. Because if he was a black dude that looked like him, you know, that dude would have been pissed. If it was like, man, you sound like Cedric the Entertainer, it's like, everybody say that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because I'm fat and black.
Yeah, but I feel like if I said that to that guy or you said it, at least with you, it's not like, oh, yeah, what?
I just didn't want to assume. I thought it was him, but I didn't get the greatest look at him. And I like when I heard his voice, I was like, damn, you sound like him. So that's why I said it. And then I looked at him, I was like, oh, that is you. Yeah, no shit.
Honestly, though, I remember he was at like some barbecue festival that we went to in Long Beach like a few years ago. But I didn't like get right up next to him, but I saw him at a table.
Yeah.
But then the guy I saw, I was like people were talking to him, it was him, but I was like, man, is that his assistant? Or, you know, I didn't know that was him, but.
You know what I'm saying? It could have been a guy that just looked like him, you know what I mean? And I just didn't want to be disrespectful because, like, I know, like, my cousin looked like Ice Cube, bro. And call him Ice Cube if you want to. He'll get mad as fuck. But my cousin, growing up, we called him
What if
Ice
I just
Cube.
make that noise Ice Cube makes and like that, like I just do that real quick in front of and go,
I mean,
That
hey,
you?
man, I don't know. Like,
Cube?
I mean, he don't look like Ice Cube no more, but he used to when he was younger. You know, his time is caught up.
I would be fucking thrilled if I looked like Ice Cube. I don't look like a celebrity. I will say, actually, I do have one other cool celebrity thing. When we went to see Tenacious D at Jimmy Kimmel. When was that? Like last year? Yeah, a couple years ago. And you know, that's like they do it in Hollywood there behind the theater, that El Capitan. So it's real small, intimate. There's only like a couple dozen people there watching, maybe like 50. And I love Tenacious D anyway. I used to sing that shit all the time. And I was singing it out loud. And then I look over, and the guy who plays Flash in the actual Justice League movies, Ezra Miller, must be a huge fan of him. So we technically broed out a little bit and sang Tenacious D together. And he gave me like a little acknowledgement that I was obviously well knowledged in that. But, you know, I don't want to, it is.
I just think it's funny because I don't know, man. It's cool when you meet celebrities and shit, but it's just like
weird, dude. I don't like doing that stuff. And honestly, I will say, like, very nice guy. He took a picture with my wife, but just like to approach him, he didn't seem very open to people coming to him. You know what I mean? It was only because I did that thing where we had like a mutual enjoyment of something that he even looked up at anything other than what was on stage. So I've never enjoyed doing it. I can't
most of mine
people and walk up to people on the street and go, hey, I'm a huge fan. I will never do that. I just can't do that shit.
I mean, like, I saw Robert Horry out in the streets, and I just said to him, I was like, man, you the man, you know what I mean? But I didn't, like, ask for his autograph or nothing, because he was, you know, with his wife and shit. I just, you know, was leaving out the store and, like, seeing him, like, at the table as I was walking. I was like, hey, yo, you the man. He's like, thanks. And, you know, he just, you know, more like black men love, respect type of thing.
I mean,
more
he
than really
caused me
being in
too
his
much
shit.
pain. He caused me way too much
Oh
pain.
no, I mean,
as
I
a
just like
player, so.
he's a legend in my book, bro. You gotta give him his credit, bro. He did shit when he wasn't supposed to, in my opinion. But
I
then
mean, he's made so many buzzer beaters. Like,
yeah,
that's incredible. That's crazy.
that's what I'm saying, bro. But in terms of like celebrities and shit, like every time I would meet them, it was because I had to meet them for my job. Like, I had to wait on their tables and shit. So like I met Bradley Cooper and shit, and that one was the worst to me because like first off, that motherfucker mad famous. Like he A-list celebrity, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he ain't just like no regular celebrity dude, but he was hella nice. But it just seemed like I was the biggest hoe ever. I felt like because it just so happened that randomly, right when he walked in there, the chef fucked up somebody's order and made an extra like cracked open like 35 oysters, and they was gonna go in the trash. So it was like he was like right when I went back there because like he had double like I put in the order and then he told somebody to make it again. And I was like, Joe, I was like, I already put it in. Like, why'd you tell him to do it twice? So he was like, oh shit, just ask anybody out there, any customer that's waiting on it if they want this. You know what I'm saying? So he's the only person. He literally was the only person out there. So I was like, hey man, I know this is gonna sound crazy, and this ain't just because who you are, but I was like, do you want a bunch of oysters? Like, because we're literally about to throw them in the trash. They just got open, and if not, we have to write them off. But if we give them to you, then it's the chef don't get in trouble. It all counts, towards the inventory shit or whatever. He's like, hell yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I just felt
Bradley
like
Cooper's just inhaling oysters and
bro, exactly, dog, bro. He literally ate like 30 oysters.
I mean,
but like I know it to himself,
bro. He's probably getting ready, dog. He was getting
bro,
that.
He met some badass chick up in there too. I mean,
was it Lady Gaga?
Nah. It was some dude that they knew that was out there. They was famous too. I don't remember who they was, but it was like some hot looking chick and then like her husband with him. But I just was like, yo, man, shit was crazy because I know in his mind he probably was thinking like, oh, they just doing this shit because I'm famous. It's like, no, you just literally walked.
I love that you had to
moment.
tell him that, like, don't get fucking cocky, but we got all these oysters, bro.
I just didn't want him to think like, yo, man, we just gave you a whole bunch of shit that you don't even want. It's like literally like the shit about to go in the trash. Like it's me and the chef's mistake. It really wasn't my mistake, but it was just like we trying not to get caught up. So if you could help us out, eat these shits, cool. You know what I mean? And he just sat there and ate them. So, but I just thought it was funny because it's just like, damn, I'm famous, man. All this special shit be happening for me. And it's like, nah, fuck you, bro. We just got lucky as hell.
I remember for the last, I worked for real briefly at this company before the company I work for now, and they went to they had like a company outing at Fogo de Chao, that Brazilian steakhouse place.
Yeah.
So we were all like in the lobby, and this was like the one that's in. They're all over the place, but this one was in like Beverly Hills specifically. It was one of the nicer ones. And we were sitting there, and I was just like making small talk with some people. And I look over, and Anderson Silva was there with like, it looked like, I think it was his son, because the guy was bald and it looked like a younger him. So I was like, man, if it's not his son, that's crazy. And I was like, fuck. And I looked over, and there was this one dude I was talking to that I kind of knew liked UFC. And I was like, dude, you know what's crazy? The spider's over there. He's right over there. He just walked in. And he got all excited. He's like, are you gonna go over? I was like, nah, dude, I'm not gonna go over there. He's eating, and he was with like two dudes and two chicks.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't him and his son, they were on like a double date. So I was like, I'm not going over there. I'm not gonna fuck with that guy. But it was cool. So he went over, tried to get like an autograph, and got completely bitched out. I was like, you should have known, bitch.
Yeah, man.
Why would you do that? But I'll tell you one thing about that guy, that Anderson Silva. I would have thought somebody that is that big of a badass would have more like, just bravado and be kind of like draw attention to themselves in some way. 'Cause, fighters, I just kind of assume that, I guess. You would never. He walked in, waited. He was waiting like in the lot. The reason I knew it was him is he was probably like 10 feet away from me, and he was that close where I was like, damn, that is him. Like, it was obviously, but nobody knows who he is.
In here?
And
Yeah,
nobody
it's
knew
like,
who he was. It was just like surrounded by all these like I worked for an Asian company, so it was just like a lot of like young Asian women that were milling about talking to each other. And me and this other, I was
yeah.
just like sitting there like, this motherfucker is right here. He's right here. He could kick me in the fucking face if I said
Oh
something
man.
wrong to him. But I just thought that was funny that that guy I told and he went over and got bitched out. He'd been living in LA his whole life, so I guess he just thought. But for me, I never do that
I
unless
think
if it was like it would have to be a Pittsburgh Steeler or
I feel like it has to be that you kind of either they see you and y'all just like serendipitously kind of talk to each other, or it has to be that like they're in that state of mind where they're cool with that. You know what I'm saying? But if they're just like at a restaurant, bro, they're not trying to be bothered, man, or doing some regular stuff like at the grocery store. Like it's one thing if it's like y'all carts almost hit each other, y'all look at each other, it's like, oh shit, you fucking Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And he's like, you know, hey, what's up? And like, and if he says something to you like that, maybe you can get a picture.
yeah,
But
and you just keep it pushing. You're like, you a
yeah,
legend,
yeah,
bro, and you just keep
right.
it going. That's what I did
But
when I saw
yeah,
Antonio Brown. I wish I would have said fuck you, but I was just like, hey B, and he just
right.
gave a little deuce and just kept going.
Yeah, man. But I mean, you don't want to just like they with their wife and kid, like, hey man, hold this camera and shit, take this picture. Just like, yo, man, get the fuck out of here.
Especially
You
a
know what I'm saying?
professional fighter, it's like you gonna go over there and
Oh,
interrupt
yeah.
him and his women and shit. Like,
Right. Well, I mean, bro, you seen when he was hanging out with James Toney that time, dog. He was trying to draw attention to himself and wanted people to know who he was. You know what I'm saying? So even that, like,
that's one of the saddest things that me personally, as just a grown man, seeing somebody get taken advantage of, watching that guy.
Oh God.
Just get like the team he had around him. I was like, dude, please, somebody. First of all, who fucked his money up this bad that didn't take care of him that way? And now he's surrounded by these dumb. It was just so sad, and he's just not in a good place. Like he's just not
Every
mentally
fighter, man.
there.
I'm about to say just almost every fighter, bro. They just keep calling him the champ and put him out there to get their ass whooped, dog.
And now they're trying to get him to fight MMA and shit. You know, like they were trying to get him to fight MMA fights. James Toney. Then that when did we meet him? What was that? Like
that was like 4 years ago. Yeah, 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah.
The MMA thing was like maybe 2 years ago, dude. That's how crazy it is. And I bet he's got that same team of fucking cuck ass dudes around him that are just trying to just suckle on that money teat. And that's James Toney, dude. How much money can he really be generating?
I mean, he still was a name at some point, so I guess they can do whatever they got to do. But
you know what's crazy
like,
about that? What you said about him trying to get women, or there's like trying to try to attract attention to himself when we were meeting with him that one time.
Yeah.
I mean, he was still shooting his shot with the ladies, dude. Somebody who couldn't even really like say words right. He would just slur everything into one long like word, basically. But he was still trying to get laid. He was still trying to shoot that James Toney fucking shot. Like he was living in the 90s.
Champ, like, yeah, exactly. Like in his mind, he still was the champ, dog. Like it just was the fact that he didn't have the belt. I mean, honestly, I guess you got to kind of think like that if you're going to ever be the champ. But at the same time, like, I'm just a realist, bro. Especially when it comes to some shit like that, like fighting. Like, if you were James Toney and, like, you want to be the fighter, but then, like, let's say, like, Mike Tyson is coming up during your prime, I'd be like, oh, I don't want this belt anymore.
I'm going to drop a weight class or just get out of this. Go get a degree. Yeah, because I forget who was saying that, where they were like, if you want to start fighting, you have to realize that there's people like Mike Tyson out there who, when you're asleep, they're waking up, they're putting in mad hours, work that you can never, ever conceive of because they're a freak and they just can't do anything else. So if you want to get into a fight and you really want to try to succeed, you got to be that plus. And I just...
Right.
Even James Toney, he was a champion, but it's like, what was crazy to me with him was that I knew of James Toney when I was a younger kid. He was famous. He was a champ.
Hell yeah,
so
in multiple weight classes.
And he was a shit talker, and he was somebody who communicated a lot in interviews for a boxer, you know, whatever that would be. But if you're around him now, there's nobody fighting for him. Like, dude, like this guy is,
bro.
this
I
is
mean, just
real.
off of his body alone, like he was like when we saw him, he was in heavyweight, bro, like almost super heavyweight. The motherfucker was in my weight class. So I used to be a fucking
Yeah.
welterweight, which is like 160, 175. You see what I'm saying? So like off rip, he gained like another 130 pounds. So how are you supposed to be a fighter when you've already went up so many weight classes and shit? Like that's crazy. But then, dude, like, if you want to talk about some crazy, crazy shit, like just look at like any fighter, dude. Like, okay, even Tyson, bro. Like, yeah, like any of the great fighters, bro. At some point, they got to that point where it was like they used to be really crisp, really fresh, and then they wind up getting beat down to the point where they're kind of not who they used to be. Like, it's kind of amazing that Tyson is still as crisp as he was, but it shows you that he was the one out there dealing damage. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't really getting hurt as much as he was hurting people. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that I'm sure don't talk straight because of Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, even
crazy,
he's kind of slowed down, but yeah, I mean, that is nuts. But that was a crazy experience because everybody was talking. That was kind of around the time when people were really starting to focus on CTE and brain injuries and stuff. And to meet that guy who is somebody, who I did know about as a kid. And like everyone from the 90s, even if you weren't like a boxing purist fan that followed every fight, boxing was huge back then. Like there was Tyson, there was Holyfield, there was all that shit going around. I mean, can't remember all the names, but we know those names. And to see that guy and the deterioration and just when CTE was becoming this big thing, it's like, oh, well, that's obviously real.
Well, I mean,
this
what's
guy's walking
kind of
around.
scary, dude? Like, the reason why football is so scary with that shit is because at least boxing is weight class. So at least it's like bigger guys against bigger guys. It's people that are my size that play football, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like cornerbacks and shit and like some small receivers and running backs. And then they'll get tackled by like Joey Porter, bro. Like, that's one of the greatest things. Like,
God, dude.
I saw Joey Porter in real life, dude. And I knew right then and there, I was like, yeah, like it was all the truth. Like I made every right decision by not trying to be a football player in my life. Like, cause I mean, when I was in like 3rd or 4th grade, John Sally came to my school and told the entire school, do not try to be a basketball player. He was like, I'm 6'10", 6'11". He brought a kid up on stage. He was like, look how much taller I am than them. Unless you're this big, you ain't gonna be a basketball player. He's like, none of y'all in here on course to be that big. So everybody need to stop right now. It just killed every kid's hoop dream in the school. I'm not even joking. Like,
Fuck it, dude.
Kids, dude.
It's probably a smart thing to
advice.
do, just to give you some good fucking things to think about.
Hell yeah.
Probably still kids went out and tried to be basketball players. But.
Right. But I mean, then just imagine though, like you already had that thought in your head, and then you see Joey Porter in real life, and it's like, oh yeah, John Sally was right than the motherfucker.
Dude.
I would have never played this sport because if Joey Porter tackles me, dude, that's my life. That's like I got CTE now. Like that's a wrap. Like
Joey Porter's that's like a professional athlete, and even a collegiate athlete. I lived in the dorms in a shitty Midwest college in Ohio called Bowling Green. And we lived in 1 year in this apartment complex. It was one of those college apartment complexes where it was just like 4 people living in a space, and it was shared space with like different bedrooms. And the people that lived next to us were part of the football team, and they were all linemen. And most of them were just like fatty dudes that, they were big, but I was big. I was fat, and I was like 6'3", so I kind of like wasn't intimidated by most of them. But there was one guy who I don't remember his name, but he may have even played professionally or could have, because he was like 6'6" or 6'5", built like a brick shit house, probably like 280. And I saw him had a party at our apartment, and we had like a balcony, and we were out on the balcony, and he was drinking and talking about something, and this kid like spilled beer on him and like told him to get out of the way, like said something about him being big. And this guy literally, I mean, it sounds like a movie, but he grabbed this guy by the neck with one hand. He showed no effort and held him up against the wall, like off the ground, and looked at the kid and squoze his head until, the guy turned blue. Like he did not let him down for like 20 seconds. And then he let him down and kicked him like in the, I think he kicked him afterwards, but regardless, he held this guy. It looked like he picked up a golf club. He just went, whoop, put the guy, and the guy was terrified, but he just sat him there. And that's the difference. Like, that was just some guy who was on our football
Right.
team in some shit college. Think of the guy that makes it to the NFL.
I mean, it's crazy, dude. Like I said, like I was talking all that shit about beating up Busta Rhymes, nice dude, and all that shit, but like I'm just keeping it all the way to 100 though. Like,
Busta, don't hurt
yeah,
him, man.
I'm
He's
just
a
saying,
good
it's people.
man.
I'm saying, it's people that you'll see and you be like, oh, I wouldn't fight that motherfucker off.
No.
Dog. You know what I'm saying? It's like, or I ain't fighting him without a baseball bat. You know what I'm saying? Like real talk.
And even
It's
then,
like,
hit Joey Porter with a baseball bat.
oh,
I don't think he would. I feel
It's
like he
literally-
would do that shit where he'd
That is
catch
Goliath.
it like Raphael and Ninja Turtles 1, call
Right.
back to Ninja Turtles, and he'll just catch that shit in the hand and be like, oh, and either like crumble it in his hand or snatch it and just start beating you with it over
I
the
mean,
head.
bro, it literally is like David and Goliath or some shit though, bro. Like, or Troy when it's like, send out your best warrior,
Dude.
and then you just fucking just ace it, like it's Joey Porter steps to the battlefield. It's like, oh my god, like, because literally, dude, it doesn't
and it's
matter.
unfair with him because not only is he huge, but he's like, if you, this
Hey.
sounds gay as shit, but if you, he looks like a superhero. He's completely like chiseled, or was, like maybe now he's not, but he just looked like a Marvel, like some
Even
guy.
the big guy, he makes them look small.
Yeah.
Bro. Like that guy, the Mountain or whatever, is small compared to Joey Porter.
That's
Like that
crazy.
guy's huge, but I'm telling you, like if he stood next to Joey Porter, you would be like, oh damn, that's the Mountain, and that's fucking Joey Porter. Goddamn, like that's how
Dude.
big Joey Porter is, bro. Like it looks like a walking like refrigerator or some shit, like a massive, the biggest refrigerator you ever seen in your life, walking around. That's what Joey Porter looks like, bro. That shit is fucking terrifying, son. Like,
I saw this guy, he was a lineman for the Steelers named Levon Kirkland. He was big. But that guy was a lineman in the NFL, and I forget when he played exactly, but we saw him at like a preseason game. I think he had already retired, but we
Yeah.
went to like a preseason game in Detroit, and I saw him like walking around, and his bicep, like his arm, his arm was so big it looked like a thigh of a fucking one of those like fat
It's crazy,
people
man.
thighs, but like an actual
but not
muscle.
fat. Hell yeah.
You know,
Bro,
like
it
that
used to be this
size.
dude. I think the Cowboys just had this D tackle. He stopped playing because he said he just wanted to go and smoke weed, so they kicked him off the team.
Oh yeah.
But dude, David Irvine, I think if I'm not mistaken, this motherfucker was 310 pounds, 6'8", 6'7", some shit like that. But he ran like a fucking 4'6", bro. Dude was huge, fast, just enormous, bro. Like I remember it was one game he played against the Eagles where he literally was just like holding the center up with like one arm and pushing him out the way and just grabbing the quarterback before he could even take a drop back. Like, I was like, dog, that is a scary motherfucker, dude. So
That's
hey, man,
one
people
position
big out
people
here.
don't respect a lot. Is like people that are linemen, especially
Oh, yeah.
offensive linemen where you're doing protection. Those guys are literally, I know you can't punch, but they're getting fucking jacked and shit.
Oh yeah.
It's like they're in like a weird fight every play. It's such a
Yeah.
fucking
And then you just gotta stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then stop and be like, oh, good job, but good job, big fella. Get back over
Yeah.
here. Uh-huh.
God. I wonder what incredible, just like heinous shit talk. I wonder if they can even talk shit. Like they have to be so.
Are you
fucking
kidding?
But I mean, yeah, I mean, like in between plays. But you telling me they're not like.
Honestly, I think them guys are in such good shape where like they don't feel like that until the last 2 minutes of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like they probably like when the game moves fast and they're not doing like, you know, winding the clock down. But I feel like between most plays, I think they catch their breath pretty quick because you know they rotate those guys in and out, man. You know what I mean? Like they'll, you know, one guy sits on a bench and another guy comes in. Now the offensive lineman probably is a little bit tougher because, like I said, if you're running the clock fast, they do have to catch their breath a little bit more because they can't just sub an offensive lineman out. But I think it's a little bit easier to block than it is to attack the quarterback too, because you got to run a farther distance. You know what I mean? To like get to the quarterback versus, you know, stepping back and just protecting the area. So I don't know. I ain't never tried to do that shit on a professional level, motherfucker. Because I'm gonna tell you the truth. Every time I've played pickup football, if I run up and down after about 3 or 4 plays and I ain't got no passes, I ain't running no more deep routes. Like, fuck all that shit. It's like, yeah, I'll run some underneath shit till I catch the ball, and then I'll go deep, when we need to. But I ain't gonna keep running 30 yards up the field to not get no pass, bro. Fuck y'all. I'm tired.
I'm done. I've retired from any sort of football, any of that shit. I'm Mr. Glass now, so I can't. I'm good. I'll play some basketball, I think, eventually. I'm gonna start trying to do that. But yeah, once I lost weight, playing football became dangerous because I had the experience of playing as a giant fat dude and all the confidence of that. But then as a smaller man and trying to run through people like a giant fat dude, you usually get fucked up. I remember one time I went at a guy to try to tackle him, and instead of tackling a guy with a ball, I was lifted in the air from a stiff arm and put over basically he stiff armed me over his body. I was like, oh, okay, well, I don't.
Bro, we used to play no equipment, pick up football out in the neighborhood.
Dude.
Just,
Dude,
I know
was
for a
doing
fact.
that in Orlando, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Can you imagine the terror? I'm so glad that I didn't fuck somebody up because I remember playing those games and going in with the anger I had from all the bullshit that we were going through down there, and just having a reason to fuck somebody up every once in a while. I'm so glad I didn't get into a lawsuit because of that. Thank God.
Yeah, man. It don't take much to just undercut somebody when they jumping for a football and clip their knee up for underneath them. And, I remember one time my buddies, man, I ran right through my buddy's collarbone with my thigh and was just like, I hurt myself doing the shit. So I knew it hurt him.
Yeah,
he got up and was acting like he was all right. And I was like, motherfucker, you ain't all right. I'm not all right. Like, what the fuck?
Dude, I remember one time, it was the first time I was ever knocked unconscious. I was just playing soccer in somebody's backyard. And I was just, this was when I was not athletic at all. I was just fat. But somebody slid tackled to get the ball, but they were behind me, so I didn't see it coming. And they just pulled my legs out from under me, and I hit, I didn't see it coming. I just fell back on my fat back and my head hit the ground. But I remember waking up from that and trying to play soccer for a good 15 minutes and being all fucked up. I obviously had a concussion, but I was.
What's crazy is I heard they say soccer players get more concussions than anybody because they don't recognize it. You know what I'm saying? Because the hits aren't as big and shit, so people just feel like, oh, we got
even
up,
hitting
the
ball is supposed to give you a slight concussion, all this stuff. I mean, dude, if you get hit in the chest hard enough, you get a concussion. It's all about.
So check this out.
The horrible movement. I'm good.
So this is, I'd say we can end after this. I just want to tell you this quick last story. I remember one time I was at this church function playing basketball with these kids. And these dudes was all older than me. I was probably 13. All these kids was 16, 17 and shit. And I was balling, bro. It was this one other kid out there that I was against on the other team that was really good. So me and them were kind of going at it. And then for whatever reason, I don't know if I accidentally fouled this kid or what, on the other team, just all of a sudden I go up to make this one shot and he just fucking hurts the shit out of me, dog. Slapped, went up, hit me all hard and I still made the shot. And me, I don't really be calling fouls. I was just maybe that was an accident. I don't know, but damn, that was crazy. So I get the ball again. I go up, same type of shit. He hits me all hard. I'm like, damn, man. So the guy on my team called foul for me. So I was like, okay, whatever. We get the ball back. So I see him, bro, and I'm at the top of the key. I see this same kid all of a sudden get this crazy look in his eye, he about to just start running at me, bro. I'm not even shooting. I'm literally just standing there holding the ball. I haven't dribbled yet, nothing. So I passed the ball to another guy on my team, this guy's crazy as fuck, man. Get the shit away from me, you know what I mean? So the guy on my team looks at me and he's like, I've been making all the shots for this team the whole time, and this dude I gave the ball to sucks. And he looks at me, he's like, what the fuck you doing? Gives it back to me, man, shoot that shit. So I'm like,
pussy.
Yeah. So I'm like, man, oh my God, no. So this kid is running right at me, dude, full speed with the look of rage in his eyes. So when I go up to act like I'm gonna shoot, I just hold the ball up in the air and then I tucked it down underneath my stomach and undercut him mid-flight. So he literally goes jumping at me like this and just clips myself, he gets clipped and it's bloop, and falls face first in the air onto his fucking head and slides across the gym floor on his forehead, feet in the air, sliding on his face and neck type of thing across the floor. And what's crazy is nobody out there said anything about me doing that. They just looked at old boy and was like, "Man, that's a foul," and they just kept playing. I was like, and then that kid got up and looked at me like, "What's my problem?" And I looked at him like, "What's going on?" And then he didn't say nothing else. Like he never brought it up. Just got hella aggressive, dog. And I'm just like, man, I'm not
I feel like
fight you,
sometimes
bro,
that happens though, because I've had that happen where, not me doing this, but I've definitely experienced it myself. That if somebody is just piecing you up constantly, like making shots in your face and just generally just fucking you up on the court, there's gonna come a time where you play defense a little too aggressively, you know, not like hitting somebody, but I remember one time in Florida again, at the height of my aggression, I was playing pickup basketball with this same group of guys. It was just remember I lived in that one set of apartments that was closer to Central University or whatever. And we were playing, and my roommate, Zach, if you somehow are listening to this, I apologize because I don't think I even ever admitted this to you. But he was just hitting shot upon shot on me over and over again, just fucking embarrassing me, crossing me over, stealing the ball. So eventually, I got to a position where I felt the rage piling up inside me. And then I saw him he stole the ball from somebody else in the game and was about to make a layup. And I tried to do like a LeBron James come up from behind and swat the ball like against the backboard while he was laying up. But, you know, LeBron James can do that. But even a very light 190, 200-pound Matthew Geddick could not pull off a LeBron James swat from the back on a layup. So instead of hitting the ball or even like doing something close to that, which is what I totally pictured in my head doing, I got close, but I basically just collided with him in midair and we both got fucked up just because he got in my head. I got pissed off that he just kept succeeding in this game where I was just failing over and over again. And my team was also failing over and over again. So I feel like what happened to you in that situation is what I did on the other side in my situation where I was just getting fucked up and I was like, you know what? I'm sick of this. Nobody else is going to do this shit. And I don't want to act like I was trying to fuck the guy I was playing with up because I was not doing that. I thought I could do what I was trying to do because I was so angry. I was like, well, my anger is going to make this happen. But I needed like a good 6 more inches of vertical that I just don't have. I'll never have it. So
well, that's what scares me, man. Because just like I hate playing sports with people out in the streets, and it's just like what they think they can do versus what they can actually do is terrifying. Because they'll fuck around and kill you, dog. Because like I hurt people too. Just like I remember one time I went and played ball with like no grip on my shoes and fucking fell on this kid's leg, and I know he was hurt, bro. I felt bad as hell, but I told him before we even started playing, I was like, my shoes don't have any grip. So everybody be careful, you know what I'm saying? And like, to their credit, they were taking advantage of it. They were out there busting my ankles up, bro. So I'm like, I don't feel that bad. I mean, y'all took full advantage when, it was working to your favor until somebody got hurt and then you want to complain about it. But you weren't saying it when you burnt me up, when you crossed me up at that 3-point line neither. So fuck y'all. So, it is what it is. But, I feel like, we've covered a litany of topics today.
Well, I was just gonna say we can cut it off because I just like to end by saying that I've conquered most of my anger demons, so I'm not the aggressive guy that I was talking about. But Aaron, you've caused some sizzle today with some very notable rappers.
Hey,
I don't know why, but if Ice Cube or Busta Rhymes has anything to say, if somehow you're one of the 3 people that's listening to us, please email us at AintLifeFunnyPodcast@gmail.com.
Hey, man.
And
I'm
just
taking
tell
all
us what you want to do to
this
Aaron. Because I'm totally in your corner. I will be your WWE management where I come out, I hype you up, I have a suit with airbrushed images of you conquering the world, and we get this money. But
This is what I'm gonna do,
I'm
bro.
afraid that I'm going to be put in a position where James Toney's management is, where you're just getting fucked up over and over again, and I'm out here trying to sell the fight. So
You ever see the episode of Martin when he fights the boxing tournament and he gets
yeah,
fucked up? And it's like that's what I'm envisioning for my Busta Rhymes fight.
Against the corner. Gina. I got him. I caught him, baby. Caught him. Yeah. Huh? I love it.
This could hurt.
Hey, man. The little man didn't give up.
I figure, but see, what I would plan on doing and what I remember from those episodes is that before Martin got to the ring, he was psychologically already trying to win the fight.
yeah,
So
he
that's
was.
what I'm gonna do. Yeah, see, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna talk shit.
That's
to
what
Busta
I'm here.
Rhymes.
But that's where
I've
I'm
already
here.
started.
That's where I come in.
Right.
I'm coming in hot.
Exactly. I've already called Busta Rhymes out. I've said that he couldn't beat me up like he did Michael Myers. So off rip, I'm saying he ain't who he used to be. I feel like he got a little bit of liquor eye fat in his eye socket holes. And if he want to see me, what's up? I'm taking all bets. You know what I mean? Now, I ain't saying that I'm betting on me to win because I might throw the fight and make a whole bunch of money. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just dirty like that, Joe Biden style. But at the same time, I'm going to give y'all a show. Before I get to the ring, I got a diss track on Busta Rhymes. I got Instagram Live, me calling his baby moms, telling her that her man ain't shit, calling his son, telling her that I'm his real
my
daddy.
God. Damn.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm about
with
that
it?
life. Bro, if you watch WWF, if I remember correctly, Shawn Michaels and all of them would take your girl, have her come out to the ring, hit you with a chair, you know what I'm saying? Like then take a shot while you in the bed with her, y'all you ain't got no shirt on to be like, yeah, me and your girl, Elizabeth over here, Macho Man, we been fucking this shit, you know what I'm saying? And then like I'm doing all that old school tactics, bro. I gotta be in your mind so I can win the fight before I even step in the ring. That's my plan.
You got some big checks you're writing here though.
Hey man,
that's all I'm
Busta don't
saying
want
because
none,
you're going deep.
Busta don't
If you
want
just keep
none.
it superficial with Busta, just call him fat and stuff. You know, I'm coming along with the ride. You know, he does look a little doughy. You know what I'm saying? So he does look a little bit
I'm
like.
Come out there. I'm gonna come out there and be trolling him in every way, man.
But I'm
like
just
he
saying,
got a tribe called Quest. I got the tribe called Best. I'm out here. I'm the one that's doing that shit. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, you're going a little deeper than just saying like he's fat, and that's where I feel like maybe you're fucking up a little bit, where he might get a little bit in his feelings and just try to come at you. But again, I'm already calling the airbrush guy to get the suit made, and
airbrush a shirt of me just knocking him out, like just a big my fist going into his face. You know what I mean? Like cartoon version of him with just like old ratty dreads and shit.
And then when you come out for the fight, you're gonna come out in that weird like Janet Jackson metallic shit, and you're gonna have
all about it.
And we're even gonna have Janet Jackson there, and she's gonna be like, "Oh, who's that fat motherfucker? Oh," and just like play.
Oh, you nasty Busta Rhymes.
You look like a baked potato now, motherfucker. Your shape all fucked up. Like somebody put. They didn't finish the clay mold on your ass.
Be like, don't your neck and your titties got lumps. Don't your ass and your body got lumps. Like, ooh, they ain't ready, bro.
You know, here's my one worry is that I've seen pictures of Busta Rhymes where, and again,
he was in shape at a point.
We've gone 5 minutes on you're cracking on Busta Rhymes, so I'm gonna end it on this. I'm with you, dude. I have faith that you could bust his ass, but I'm seeing pictures of him, and I'm looking at a few, and he's looking more muscular than fat. So maybe he's in the gym.
You act like I can't lift some weights, man. Fuck Busta Rhymes, man.
Get in there, dude. You better be lifting
Man,
all the
fuck
weights,
Busta
dude.
Rhymes, man, Busta Rhymes been lifting some chicken, bro, to his face. That's what he been lifting, dog. Lifting a plate up to his motherfucking neck hole. Nobody worry about that big boy. Nobody worry about that big boy.
Busta Rhymes. You heard it here first, dude. Get in that square circle with Aaron, dude. Get your ass.
It's like if nothing else, it's gonna be a show right up until the lights come on.
Yeah, right.
When that bell rings, they're gonna be like, okay, where happened to all that shit you were
Busta
talking?
Rhymes was going. Yeah, he killed him.
He just looks at me and just
dark.
Like, just goes psycho. Like, oh my god, Busta!
Everyone's picking on me.
It's like, Busta, I was just joking, man. Chill. He just goes Ralphie from
You don't realize that his weight, he's been really like sad about it for so long because he used to be in such good shape. He's like,
oh man,
fuck this guy.
Oh man. Oh well, I'm sorry if I've offended you, Busta Rhymes, but at the same time, if you want to
whoop
get a
his ass.
celebrity
No,
fight
fuck
going,
that shit.
yeah, if you want to get a
Fuck that
celebrity
shit.
fight match going, dog, I'm all about it, man. I'll do 3 rounds all day. What's up? What's up?
Better put
3 rounds with Busta.
He's gonna try to put that show enough costume on from the Diddy video, and it's only gonna be like the fucking Chris Farley and Tommy.
I'm about to say, gonna be up on his neck like this, choked out, little fat fuck. Let me stop. I'm stupid, man. I'm stupid. But, all right, man. I think that's a good episode 12. That's what that was.
I think so. So I guess we'll see you guys next week if Aaron isn't accosted in the streets by Busta Rhymes.
Busta Rhymes will run up on me by then. We'll see what happens, though.
All right, bro. I'll talk to you later, man.
Yeah, man. Take it easy, bro. Peace.
Am I the meanest? Show up. Am I the prettiest? Show up. Am I the baddest, toughest, low down in this town? Show up. Yeah.
This is serious. We could make you delirious. You should have a healthy fear of us. Cause too much of us is dangerous. So dangerous, we so dangerous. A flip mode squad is dangerous. We so dangerous, we so dangerous.